The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
It's the zoo book.
Yes. So
What are you doing with it?
I have a book that's entirely about the zoo. And one person named Chris said, I want you to sign it live on the show.
Oh, okay.
And I got news for you. If you're like, I'm going to order the book and get him to do the same thing. No.
Back
It's a
up a little.
one-time thing?
This is the last one.
Back up a little. We
What?
started selling your book, This Team is Ruining My Life, in sdpnshop.ca.
That's right.
And we don't just sell it normally, like Amazon or Indigo or one of those other big box stores.
Yeah.
We sell it, and there's a little box on the site where you can customize a message from Steve to yourself. And this is what this person wrote.
Yes.
Chris, you said is his name?
Chris. Is it Chris? No, it's Chris. So I'm going to sign this for Chris live in the show. You asked for a timestamp. Just know the beginning of the December 11th episode.
Put 1 minute.
1 minute?
We're about a minute in.
Okay.
He asked for that. Give it to him.
To Chris. Should I put Topher? I'll put Chris. To Chris. 1 minute into the December 11th, 2023
Chris, why did you do this?
show. No.
What are we
Chris
doing?
asked for this.
Why?
No.
Why, Chris?
Here, while you're
this
doing
why?
that, let me talk about the book stuff.
Can we?
So-
Yeah, please
Talk about it.
If you're asking,
Filibuster.
if you also want to do this, no, we're not
No.
taking any more requests for
Just
to sign
Chris.
on the show. And if you are looking for a book, I'm sorry, we sold out of them. So we started selling them last week. Stevie promoted it on Twitter, promoted a little on the show, and we sold out. So thank you to everyone who ordered. If we start selling more of them now, you won't receive them in time for Christmas. So we're going to come back with more signed books on our site in January.
Yes. There's a huge pile in Jesse's office.
Yeah.
Right
Some of
now.
them, like, I'm sorry, the person who ordered it from Australia, probably not going to arrive for Christmas.
Right.
Okay, so now you've gotten a little glimpse into my little book selling world. Where is the most expensive place to ship to?
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. I told you they hate the East Coast.
It's more difficult to send a book to Newfoundland than it is to like California.
What about like Newfoundland versus Australia?
Australia is just the time. Like it takes forever to get there.
Right, but
Yeah.
price, it's more for Newfoundland.
They're
I'm
about the
pretty
same.
sure. That's
They're about
crazy.
the same. It's cheaper to send the books. We had some UKs. It was cheaper to send the books to the UK, like by a huge margin, than to send it to Newfoundland.
I don't get it.
By Royal Mail.
By what?
They have Royal Mail.
Is that what it is?
It is, yeah. It's like the Royal Postal Service and whatever.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It's sad.
absolutely ridiculous.
Sad. It's what it is. Now listen, it was a hard weekend for Toronto sports.
Whoa.
But let's get into the BetMGM big story to talk about what could happen tonight that could be killer. I just want to know. I just want to know how likely do you think it is that John Tavares gets .999 and .1000 against the New York freaking Islanders tonight?
Here's how it needs to happen. Dramatic comeback and Tavares gets the game tying goal and the OT winner? No. The Leafs are leading significantly, and Sheldon Keefe plays John Tavares for the final 5 minutes of the game.
5 straight.
5 straight. Just to
says you
get
don't
him
even
a
need to-
secondary assist.
You don't even need to skate back.
Absolutely not, John. Yeah, hang out at the red line, like me at a charity tournament. Hang out at the red line, and we'll get you the puck, John. That's how it needs to happen. Now, I do worry about how much attention this is getting because it's almost like winning the game will be secondary for the Islanders. And
It always is secondary for the Islanders. It's about making fun of John Tavares for
primary is he cannot get 2 points. It's really hard to get 2 points in this league. It's really hard to get 2 points against the Islanders. I don't think he does it, although I really want him to.
Jesse, if you were betting this at betmgm.com/dangle, what do you got?
I can tell you.
He's got a big smile on his face about it.
Because I built the same game parlay for this instance. That Steve, it's important that the Leafs win.
Okay.
That's in the parlay.
I hope
it is
so.
John Tavares to score 2 goals or more. So he gets his 1,000th point with 2 goals plus the Leafs win. The odds on that are 13.5 to 1. So
Wow.
if you bet $10, you get $135 back. If John Tavares gets 2 goals and the Leafs win.
What if you're a $2 Steve though?
How much you'd get?
Yeah, what if I put $2?
Your stake is $2.
Because I'm a big fraidy cat.
And then you'll get $27.
That's pretty good.
Let's go.
$27.
That's okay. Now, likelihood of it happening. I feel like if John Tavares is well positioned to do this, because if you're going to score as a Toronto Maple Leaf, it's probably best to have the best setup man on the team on your line. I feel like Mitch Marner is going to be looking for him. And remember, John Tavares scored 47 goals with Mitch Marner as a line mate.
Marner will have -2 shot attempts.
It's going to be all feeds, right?
But I'm worried about the Islanders playing 5-on-1 on John Tavares.
Just swarm him?
There's all game long. There's 5 guys surrounding JT all the way around the ice.
I got to be honest, I'm not. I hope they do that. That'd be great.
You did this to us.
Yeah, but they care more about preventing this 1,000th point than winning the game.
I was about to say,
They don't, but still.
Are there even enough Islanders still on the team that know about that or care?
Well, the entire
and then I was
third
like,
line.
wait a minute. Yeah, that team has the least turnover in the league, basically.
Yeah.
And how many defensemen? They have entire intact lines.
Steve, it does not matter about the people there.
No.
It matters about the crest on the front.
That's right.
New York Islanders hockey. They know the history.
Something the Loafs have never got, have they?
I'm sorry, you mean the laughs?
The laughs.
All right.
We don't need you.
That's your BetMGM big story. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but I want to say this because Blaze Hamilton, real name, Blaze Hamilton.
Yeah, I believe it.
Instagram DM'd me. What a name.
Wow. I can't believe one of the cars who goes up against Lightning McQueen.
Blaze Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah. A stoner from Hamilton, but he's a car.
And also a WHL player.
There you go. Blaze Hamilton messaged me this, and he's like, I'm not sure if you know about this, but the Leafs are currently one of the top teams ever in a particular streak. Now, they've just entered the top 15, but this is an extraordinarily hard streak to get into, to go this long. It takes years. What streak is Blaze talking about?
Is it most years without an appearance in a championship series?
I think they're close to that. I don't know if it's that one, though.
Is this a good one or a bad one?
It's a good one.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah.
A streak?
And it's actually never been equaled in Maple Leafs history. So
when was the last time they were shut out?
Jesse Blake.
Whoa!
Absolutely nailed it.
Thank you.
Wow.
The Toronto Maple Leafs have moved into 14th place in a non-shutout streak, as in games that they have not been shut out. The start date of this was November 21, 2021, 169 games ago. The next closest are the Detroit Red Wings. So that was, they did it in 2004, or their streak ended in 2004, 175 games. The Sabres in 1983 at 178. Canadians in 1971 at 185. The longest streak ever, though.
Well,
can you guess?
Congrats to Ilya Sorokin.
I know.
No, I remember this because earlier in the season they were goalless going into the third period. I don't remember what game it was, and so it had been brought up that they had a shutout streak going on.
It's the all-time record you're talking.
All-time record for the longest non-shutout streak over multiple seasons. I'm
gonna go with the 70s Habs were so stupid good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it's them, and it's 250 games.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to default to Canadians.
Yeah.
A good one, but not the one. Oh. This one actually happened in the 80s. I'm going to give you a different guess.
Is it the team the Leafs are playing tonight?
Just give me a guess.
Islanders.
No. Jesse Blake.
The Rangers.
I'm surprised I said 80s and you guys didn't say Edmonton. But
the Flames.
It's the Calgary Flames.
Oh, what? I was joking. What?
Yeah. The start date of their streak
That's weird.
was November 12th, 1981. And it went for about 3 years, 264 games.
Wow.
That's cool.
Without getting shut out.
Without getting shut out.
Now, scoring has gone back up to roughly sort of where it was in the 80s.
Early 80s levels, yeah.
Per game. So it kind of makes sense that teams are having long streaks of it right now.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
Even though it's wild that teams are pulling this off, even though they play in the same league as Jonathan Quick.
Yes.
What? Dude, did you see the stat with him? He's 8-0-1.
How?
You should know that.
Okay,
He's the Ranger.
No, I thought you were doing it the other way. I was about to lambast you.
Oh, no.
Okay.
He's unbeatable.
Yeah, no, he's resurrected like the Undertaker.
Important note.
Literally.
All of the top 13 occurred in the 70s or 80s, except for the Detroit Red Wings, which their streak started on 01-10-2004. So I
the
guess
Red Wings that are more important to hockey history than Sidney Crosby.
That's right.
As you once said.
Yes. And I still own that.
You know what?
Detroit, I love you.
You know what? It's harder that Detroit did that in the dead puck.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
And when you look at there's not one start date here in the 90s. Not one.
That's crazy.
Their streak means more. The
I
Red
think
Wings
so.
one, yeah.
And they mean more, generally.
Then
Go Wings.
Ovi and Crosby.
Go Wings.
To Canada and therefore the world.
Yes, that's right. So the Toronto Maple Leafs probably played what was their best game of the season against the Nashville Predators. Almost mistakeless hockey.
I thought so. Yep.
Ilya Samsonov will start there, gets his first game and a shutout on his first game back. He'd been dealing with an illness. We weren't sure what it was. We still don't know. But he seemed to play good, and the Leafs, more importantly, seemed to play great in front of him.
Think of a save that he made.
Yeah.
I can't. Like, they made it 18 of the... Okay, I'll just ask it. Did the Preds get after it the night before? Like, that's crazy. The Leafs outshot them 37-18.
The Leafs don't do that.
It's hard to hold a team to less than 20 shots in today's NHL. I know they hit the post a bunch of times. If you add every post that they hit to their shot count, it's still only like 21. Ugh. No, that was great hockey from a Leaf team that I was about to say has no defenseman. At what point, you know what? It's rare that I get on this show and immediately go, I said something that was dumb. The Joseph Wolf thing from last show, where I was like, the Leafs not making a trade is what got him hurt. Now, I didn't literally mean that. I said it very tongue-in-cheek.
Well, you know how the internet is.
Well, yeah. No, but no one called me out on it because I think they knew I was being tongue-in-cheek. But I think it's about time we start putting some respect on the guys filling in. Like, even Max Lajoie had his best game as a Leaf.
Well, they actually played him.
They actually played him, and he was fine. Timmins is growing into his own. At what point do we just concede, you know what, Simone Benoit might just be fine?
I think he's fine. I
He's
really
totally
liked
fine.
his play.
Yeah.
I really liked his play.
Yeah.
And I know that the numbers were bad last year, but again, he played with John Klingberg
On
in
the
Anaheim.
Ducks.
And played top-line minutes, which he should never be playing.
Right. Dude, I said that in the video that no one watched and everyone watched.
Simone Benoit.
It was like 80,000. It's freaking ridiculous. I was like, well, he was probably overplayed, and he's young, and he was playing with a player who doesn't play defense on a team that doesn't play defense, and he lays big hits. And then he has that big hit. I can't remember who it was on, right at the Leafs blue line, and everyone's like, whoa, Benoit. And I'm like, yeah, I told you guys. Now, throw him in the top 4. The one time he's done that this season, he got eaten alive.
Sure.
In a game that they won, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, at what point do we just start...
I mean, he kind of is. He's playing with McCabe.
Well, last game against Nashville, yeah, I guess he was. And, like, Lagson's filled in really well, and he hasn't played because he's sick.
He's back in practice, by the way.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Good.
today.
Liljegren's back in practice as well. I forgot he was out. That's their best right-handed shot.
Yeah.
I forgot he was out, man. Gio is out. Liljegren is out. Klingberg is out. McCabe has missed time. Timmins missed significant time. Lagesson has missed a little bit of time.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at standouts, obviously we were all excited about Connor Timmins in the preseason, like really excited. And then just a freak injury, and it sucks. But the two standouts to me really have been Benoit and Lagesson. Mm-hmm. Those are guys you picked up for nothing. Like, I think Benoit, they got him because he didn't get qualified.
No, you're right. Him and Gregor.
And Gregor didn't get qualified.
Noah,
who's been great.
Listen, I'm a Sharks truther and everything. They pick up another point yesterday and another comeback. How didn't they qualify that guy? You have 12 forwards better than him?
No, you don't.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
No, it's been great to watch, and I think when I remember back against Boston, the first series that Babcock coached, probably 2018.
Yes.
When they lost the series in Game 7, Mike Babcock, as he was one to do, blamed everybody else except for his terrible coaching. Bruce Cassidy stuffed him into a locker. Mm-hmm. But instead of acknowledging that, what he said is they needed to work on depth, specifically on defense. They didn't have the depth in the organization. The one thing I can say...
That's so ass.
But we
need to work on...
to be fair to him, they didn't.
Yeah, but you don't say that. Like, you're putting it on the GM.
Right.
Who we already know he didn't like.
Yeah.
Well,
so
no, that was...
called him
that
out,
was
right?
Lou still the GM.
That was still Lou?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the Leafs are 7-1-2 in their last 10, guys.
Yeah. One thing we don't do enough is give the Leafs credit where credit is due, because we hammer them a lot on this show.
Because we just want to win.
We want to win. That's the thing. And Steve, one thing you yelled about a lot last year is that there's no days off. Like, who cares if this guy goes down and that guy goes down? Everybody's dealing with injuries. And this is something we've asked from the Leafs for a long time, for years, is there's always this excuse of like, oh, Matthews went down for these games. He's injured. The defense is depleted. They're losing all these games, but we have these excuses because of the injuries. Now they're finally doing the thing where next man up, whoever goes down, they're still winning games. And that's the important thing. So all credit to this organization right now.
And really, understatedly, they are playing with snot. They're playing with lots of snot.
Talk about that.
Well, they have a couple, like, really big hits a game. They're scrums after whistles. They're standing up for each other. There are no easy nights anymore. That's all we asked for.
Now, easy nights, how? Again, qualify that. Get specific.
Nights where, like, the Leafs would not be an easy night in that they could skate, they could make plays, you had to always be aware.
Score goals in bunches, right?
Yeah, they were probably a really annoying team to play hungover, right? And now they still have, like, all of that. They still have all of that. They're maybe not quite as fast, probably more skilled than they used to be, like just in terms of all those young guys on those skilled teams got better. Mm-hmm. But now they don't let up. They just don't, like, on a night where they're not at their best, they're still grinding you. You have to keep your head up. You have to keep your head up. Jake McCabe is laying guys out on his offside. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
That was a big hit, by the way.
Simone Benoit will step up on you. You know who has quickly become, like, my favorite Leaf to watch? And he's not on this team anymore. Old Tyler Bertuzzi is not on this team anymore. Tyler Bertuzzi is an actual rabid animal on every shift. And just the little things that he does, diving at pucks and dropping down into, like, the butterfly to make not even block a shot, like block a cross zone pass. Like, I love him.
Tell him to fix his tongues.
No, he keeps playing like this. He can listen. The tongues pissed me off when he was playing like shit. I was like, fix your tongues. You look stupid. And now he looked like, remember Patrick Laine's Billy Goat beard?
Yeah.
That looked weird, right?
Yeah.
Except he was scoring 40 goals.
So it's okay.
So it was fine.
Yeah.
You score 18, that fucking looks weird. You should shave that. You score 40, tell you what, we should all grow one.
Yeah.
You know what? Tyler Bertuzzi, you're laughing on the bench. You're not doing anything. Your line's getting caved in. Tuck in your friggin' tongues. You play like a dog every single night. Let those tongues hang.
What about
Let them hang, Tyler.
No tape on the stick?
Let it breathe, Tyler.
I like that. I've always liked that.
Let it breathe.
Because I'm a tape truther. Tape doesn't do much. It really doesn't.
It doesn't do anything.
It doesn't.
What? It doesn't not do anything.
Flat out doesn't do much. It like doesn't. Take a stick on the ice, shoot your puck without the stick.
I'm more.
It's a mass placebo.
Yes.
No, I'm more for the modern day grips, like the grips that.
Up on top. Doesn't Bertuzzi have a weird top grip too?
No, he has none.
He has none. Yeah, he has nothing on his stick. That's why he's so unique. But
I think it makes more sense on the butt of your stick than the blade. Like, it's more important. Like, tape is more important on the butt of your stick than the blade. Unless you're Tyler Bertuzzi. In that case, you know what?
Nothing.
Maybe I'm just going to play without it now.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be as good. Maybe I'll be as good. I'm starting to believe. All you have to do is try hard and not use tape. I'm starting to believe, Tyler.
He's the exception to the rule, I think.
I know. He's the exception to basically every rule.
I want to talk about that Jake McCabe hit, though, and I forget who it was on, but I know
Evangelista.
Okay, so Sherwood stepped up and fought him. They talked a little bit about it on TSN when the Leafs played Ottawa last Thursday, and they were saying, like, are we going into the no-hit league? And when we are getting to the point where a clean hit, no matter what, elicits a fight. I felt like Jake McCabe shouldn't have had to fight.
No.
That was a clean textbook hit.
Okay, Giordano.
And why isn't that more penalized? Why isn't that more like
there
that?
Should be an
is
instigator penalty if you're trying to fight guys at clean hits.
Adam, it is penalized against the Leafs. The Leafs got 2 instigators against Vancouver, and for both of them, I was like, they did. They did. But
Kiefer Sherwood did not get an instigator. He wasn't involved in the play.
No, because fuck him.
No, there was a hit.
Fuck the fucking Leafs. Hit. That's why.
One of your guys got rocked, so it's free reign to just go after other guys.
It was in the third period of a game Nashville was clearly going to lose. Let them in the game. Why are we hurting them anymore? They're not. The refs aren't there to police. They're there to manage.
Well, we'll talk about some game management.
Oh, I know. They had
something in the water.
It's one of the worst weekends of NHL officiating in a very long time. But, that's an instigator. What are you doing? Please do
It feels like one, right? Like, I
yes.
sit there, I'm like, I feel like that's the rule. I'm sure the comment section will tell me that it's not.
There was a clean
hit. That feels like what the rule is.
There was a clean hit. And, it's funny. I don't even, blame Sherwood. All he was doing is exactly what I've asked the Leafs to do all season.
Which is stand up for your guy.
It's a clean hit on McCabe's end that ended poorly because Evangelista went into the curved glass that, thank goodness, is curved now.
Yes.
You know why we're not talking about the curved glass today? Because it's curved.
Yeah.
There was a time where that hit would have been real
It's shocking to me that it took somebody getting hit by that, several people, before they thought, we should curve this.
Yeah.
I know
they're only going 30 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, I know a star got rode into a turnbuckle by the biggest professional hockey player who ever lived. Maybe we should change our ways a little bit. That's what it took. Literally the biggest professional hockey player who ever lived and still has ever lived. That's what had to happen. Anyway,
go ahead, Jess.
I don't mind Sherwood sticking up for his guy, but it's a penalty if you do it.
1 second on Luke Evangelista, hammering the point that these aren't the Leafs of old. If this is any other Leafs team and Brendan Shanahan's nephew comes to play in Toronto and he has a whole box of family, he scores a hat trick every single time.
Yeah.
Luke Evangelista was shut down, and I think that was the biggest accomplishment by the Leafs on Saturday night.
And no Ryan O'Reilly goals, because didn't he have 2 goals and an assist last time?
No Luke Shen.
Nothing.
Yeah,
no, it was good.
It was good.
I was going to bet Evangelista to get 2 goals.
And you were right to do so.
Good.
Yeah, no, the fucking president's nephew's out there playing.
Yeah.
Of course he's going to score 2 goals against the Leafs, but not this team.
I hope
They're
Shanahan
different this year.
I hope Shanahan texted him before the game. Have a shitty game. Have a shitty game. See you at Christmas. Please, why not? Be friends and uncles and nephews, whatever, after the game. Hey, Luke, have a shitty game.
I don't know if you guys saw how but they gave him a lot of time on Hockey Night. Evangelista.
Well, they should.
McLean told the story about him going by his house and he knows his mom and all this stuff, but as they should, local boy.
Yeah.
Hockey family.
Highlight that. I think, Hockey Night in Canada should identify with good Canadian stories as they do. Sometimes most of the time they overdo it. But that seemed to me like it fit perfectly. Yeah. Just like when they played April Wine going to break, because Miles Goodwin died, and April Wine's one of the best Canadian rock and roll bands of the 70s. And that's great. That's the kind of stuff we need. We don't need to wax poetic about literally everything that's ever happened in Canadian history.
Yes, we do.
But that was a good story, and I liked it, and I'm in for it. Now, I want to ask you this. How good does it feel to see Austin Matthews get 2 goals, kind of like the way that he scores?
He's got his swagger back.
And that first goal with Willie setting him up, and Willie got a goal too. Did he? Wait, That was the game before.
No, that was the Ottawa
Game before.
Yeah, no.
But Willie setup, that was vintage, the two of them. People forget, those guys played together for years.
That was the hat-trick goal. That was Matthews' hat-trick goal against the Sens in his first game. Like almost to a T. Except this was a little bit more zig and zag, and that one was just on the fly. He's got a scoring touch.
I like the second goal better than the first goal because the second goal was a goal scorer's goal.
Yeah.
Where you think Austin Matthews is going to do the Austin Matthews thing. He's going to snipe it like over the blocker, and he just waits and he goes right 5-hole. It was beautiful. It was magic. Like that's what a true goal scorer does, where he's seeing the game faster than everybody else, and he knows what the goalie's going to do. I'm just going to slide it right between the legs. It was beautiful.
It's really understatedly one of his most deadly shots. Like. It's you're seeing players go to it a lot more. Crosby has always done it. McDavid does this all the time. Matthews snipes 5-hole as fast as anybody in the world, like just right along the ice.
And it's rarely open, but if you can get a goalie in transition up or down or up, it's that's the time.
I mean, think of the way a goalie moves, right? Like it's there for the taking, man.
Yeah.
If their stick is off the ice, go for it.
100%. From the so it was the Leafs' most complete game. It looked great, and as much as it's funny, Steve and I did a cameo the other day, and they're like, somebody's sad because the Leafs suck, and we were like, do they? Like they've been playing really well. I don't. What's the problem? And listen. I know there were frustrating moments mid-October, but as Leaf fans, and I don't blame you for this at all. If you're like me on this one, where you tend to hang on to the bad because you feel like that's the reality. Do celebrate the times when they're good. They seem to be feeling themselves, and they seem to be coming together defensively, which is allowing the offense to breathe.
And I tell you what, fourth line's best game of the season. We've been ripping on Reeves. Listen.
Okay, tell me about Reeves.
It was less about Reeves. I mean, he just wasn't out there for a goal.
Well, you mean David Kampf's breakaway, which was pretty spectacular?
Nasty. David, what was that?
Well, man, I could see all 8 abs working overtime, getting him ahead.
He's just Czech Superman. He's so ridiculous. Great pass from Connor Timmins. Like, we saw that basically exact play in the previous game, but it was Riley to Marner. And that makes sense. You got Timmins to Kampf. Kampf with goals in back-to-back games. Ew, David. That was nasty, man. I love that. He learned that one from Willie.
And what did you guys think of Ryan Reeves in that game? Because, listen, we do rag on him when there's nothing happening, or he's a drag on play. If it's neutral, is that okay? That's what we can hope for.
Neutral is good from your fourth line. Offensive zone is good from your fourth line. Lay a few hits or at very least rub guys out. He is actually pretty good at I mean, if he goes to the front of the net, you can't move him. And he's actually generated, in my eyes, a decent amount of scoring chances when he's in the offensive zone, but he has to be there.
The scoring chances, I think it was just one that he kind of generated on Saturday. I think a more skilled player is able to do more in those instances. So
sure.
The point about him not being able to be moved from the front of the net, if somebody else is there, they probably take advantage of those opportunities a little bit more. And that's the only disappointing thing about Reeves is he doesn't have the offensive skill, but he's not out there to do that.
That's on Gregor and Kampf. Stop passing to his stick.
What do you want them to do?
Hit it off his hip.
Oh, yeah?
Shoot it directly at him. Yeah. It's not going to hurt him.
It's like a pinball machine. Pinball machine. Just
hit it directly at his hip.
Yeah, but he's not out there for that, so my expectation isn't that he's going to be able to handle the puck cleanly, But so the fact that he's able to lay a couple hits, I think, is the plus positive for them, and not that he kind of fumbled a little bit of scoring chances.
I want to ask you guys this. They're sort of the silent partner in all this. The third line, which has had some great games, really great games. Specifically, Max Domi, Calle Yarncroke they connect. Yes. They seem to do really well together.
Domi had a good game.
He did. He did. I've loved the way he's played.
Many since he was taken off that line that made no friggin' sense.
The guy that I want to talk about, though, is Nicholas Robertson, who I think has had a very underrated...
You got parental.
Good year. Nicholas. St. Nicholas of Robertson.
Mr. Pickles.
I want to believe, and I feel like there's a breakout coming here. Like, I feel like there's a point streak coming from Nick Robertson soon, because there's times on the ice where you're like, oh, like,
I know.
He's
doing all the right things.
He is,
like,
right?
even defensively. Yeah.
He's when we were talking this summer, and then I think in September, you were like, the Leafs did exactly what they should have done with Nick Robertson, which is wait and not trade him.
Yep.
He's all of a sudden become a really valuable depth piece for right now, but I do feel like that secondary scoring, if he's able to get on some sort of roll, and I'm not expecting Jason Robertson numbers here. To me, like, if he keeps doing what he's doing, it's going to happen. He's going to score a lot more.
I mean, was Jason Robertson right away?
No.
Was Jason Robertson after breaking basically every bone in his body in the middle of a pandemic and like missing a year of junior eligibility and like this, for all the things that have happened to Robertson, he shouldn't be in the NHL, right? But he's still here. That's what a grinder this guy is. That's what a warrior this guy is. And he's been that since birth, literally. Like how can't you cheer for this guy? It's coming. He's just needed an extended
development.
Well, extended streak of actually healthy play. He's playing with line mates that make perfect sense. It's one of those like ideal video game lines. You have finisher, playmaker, grinder, sort of thing. He's getting clobbered a lot less. He took a few really big hits like early in his little Leaf stint where I was just like, oh, Nick, like, I just don't know if this is going to work. He had a few rough shifts. Those shifts are few and far between. He's regularly making good defensive plays. He's regularly, having an effort, for God's sake. Like, even when it comes to things like putting pressure on guys at the offensive blue line, he changes lines with purpose, which I really like.
He hustles back to the bench. And I remember my coaches yelling that at me, by the way.
He's got a great finishing touch. And we've seen Domi connect with Yarncroke. I'm a bit surprised we haven't seen Robertson connect with Yarncroke more because a lot of the Leafs overpass. Robertson might be their only overshooter, but I love that about him. And I'm waiting for Yarncroke or even Domi, who should have like 5 or 6 goals by now, to bang in some Robertson rebounds.
Yes.
He picks up points.
I think that's the thing, is that if they can keep that low, if they can keep it off the pads,
yes.
If Robertson can ping it off the pads, it's almost like those passes that some of the top line guys do, basically passing off the goalie's pad. That line could score a ton of goals.
The market inefficiency is shoot it low.
Yeah, funny, right?
Like,
yeah. The only thing about Nick Robertson is Sheldon Keefe doesn't seem to be the biggest fan of him, because as he's played more games with the Toronto Maple Leafs, his ice time is being cut slowly. He started out around 11 minutes time on ice, and now on Saturday he played 8:35.
Wow.
So I have a theory on that. It's two things. The Leafs' left wing has actually gotten really good. Nyes is a dog. Bertuzzi is a dog. Gregor is a dog. And I think part of the reason Robertson's ice time has gone down is he's not Keefe's go-to guy in defensive situations, and the Leafs have been leading the majority of their games recently, which wasn't the case previously. Even when they were winning games, they were doing it in comebacks. Now they're actually in hold the fort mode, and yeah, it's kind of hurting his ice time a little bit.
So what does that say about Saturday, where they were ahead the entire game, and he played the least amount he played in his entire season?
You're in defense mode, right? You have the lead. You're trying to preserve the lead. Now, it would have been nice. It would have been nice to maybe get him more in the third period when you can feel confident that you had the game tucked away. But do we all not agree that a shutout for Ilya Samsonov was exactly what the doctor ordered?
Agreed.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a fair point. Yeah.
You protect that like it's a playoff game.
When they're chasing the game, Nick Robertson will see more ice time.
Yes. Yeah, because he's a really good finisher.
Right.
You should have him.
Yeah, so it means he'll get lots of ice time because they're consistently chasing.
Yes.
It does happen a lot.
They were for a while, and they haven't been as much recently.
Jakub Vrana is going to be on waivers as 3 minutes from now. I believe waivers are at 12:30.
Who announced that?
Jeremy Rutherford of the Athletic for St. Louis Blues. He does the Blues coverage. Also, while the show has been happening, the Canucks have been told they are out on Ethan Bear. Looks like the Washington Capitals will get him, but the deal is not expected today.
Okay.
So they're working through whatever.
Yeah, they were saying the Caps are expected to offer him more than just a year, which the Canucks, I think, were only willing to do. So,
yeah. I also think they've got like $11 million in cap space, and they've surprised. Why not augment the lineup? That's an easy win for them.
Yeah, the Capitals have $11 million in cap space. The Canucks are looking to trade Kuzmenko.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
That's wild too. That the potential Kuzmenko deal that could happen.
Last year, if you told me the key to the Canucks' success is trade Bo Horvat and also Kuzmenko goes from 39 goals to a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
That's all that needs to happen, and then you can be great.
Was it $5.5 million?
5.5 for Kuzmenko.
They got to pay to get rid of him, right?
Well, at 4 goals and 11 assists so far this year, people are not going to...
That's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but again, they signed him for the guy that scores somewhere in the neighborhood, not 39 goals, but maybe 25.
39 goal scorers cost a lot more than 5.5.
Well, because I don't think anybody believed that he was actually going to be a 74-point player the rest of his career. And he might be.
There we go.
He might be. Maybe that is the deal of the century. They're just not playing him properly.
Possible.
Because that does happen, right?
He's still scoring at a 50-point pace?
Yeah, something like that.
15 points in 25 games. Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
It's still not even that bad of a deal.
5.5 for this year and next.
I mean, it's a luxury. It's a luxury that the Canucks can't afford.
Yeah.
Right? Other teams could. He can't.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a hockey deal out there for the Canucks.
Yeah, Capitals.
You think so?
What's
That could
going
be
back?
What's going on? I don't know. But they could afford him. And he's, I think, Russian.
He is, yeah. He played in St. Petersburg.
Well, he's also a Dan Milstein client, so guaranteed Russian.
Yeah, we gotta. I mean, it's automatic. You're going to be playing with Ovechkin. That's how we got away from that in the rumor mill. Every Russian who becomes available has to go play with Alexander.
Of course. That's
how it works.
And Ovi, listen, if Kuzi can set Ovi up, he wouldn't be the only Kuzi to set him up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Aha.
Oh, yeah.
You see?
Aha.
You see?
Yeah, are you allowed to use Kuzi with
I don't think
Kuzmenko? I don't think you're allowed to do that.
You'd have to have the Kuzis.
No. There's one Kuzi.
And if you got Jakub Vrana, you could have jacuzzis.
Ooh.
Aha!
Hey.
Woo! Even though he already was a cap, wasn't he?
I think you put him on a line with someone whose name starts with T, and then they're the T Koozies.
Stop! Boo!
That's a good one.
Boo!
Why are you booing me? I'm right,
man.
Steve, is it harder to score in the KHL than the NHL? Given your decades-long run as a reporter for the KHL?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, they don't score as much.
Okay. Because his career high in goals comes in the NHL, not the KHL. I thought that was interesting.
No, that's Ovechkin.
That makes sense, right?
100%.
Okay.
Ovechkin, I feel like we did this on the show and I was wrong. I can't remember. I want to say Ovechkin in his draft year had 18 goals in the Russian Super League. And people were like, oh my God, he's a monster. And you're like, he is?
He had less than 20 goals.
And then he gets here and he scores 51. And you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I just wonder.
I got a question for you.
What's that?
Are you looking out for your cheeks?
Always.
No, I mean the down there cheeks. The butt cheeks.
I knew what you meant.
Okay, good. Listen, SeatGeek is a way that you can make sure that your butt hits the right seats and you are at the right events. Okay? SeatGeek, 28 million downloads. It's the #1 rated ticketing app in the world. 70,000 events with SeatGeek every single day, including sports, concerts, festivals. Jesse?
I want tickets to a Chiefs game so I can go see the Taylor Swift show.
You can do that. You could also see the Chiefs get robbed in the last minute, by the way.
All right,
that was
Patrick
a BS
Mahomes.
Call.
Calm
BS
down.
Call.
Whoa.
Adam
BS call.
Mahomes.
Easy, Patty.
Refs usually back them off when they're on the line of scrimmage, but he didn't do it that time.
All right.
All right. Yeah, listen, with the NHL, the NFL, the NBA, all in full swing, SeatGeek has your tickets to every single game, plus artists that are on tour right now, like Taylor Swift.
Oh!
Travis Scott. And also each ticket is rated on a scale of like 1 to 10. So if you look for the green dots, green means good, red means bad. Every ticket is backed by the buyer guarantee too. So SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps, which is really, really good. And listen, we wanted to come through for you guys. Use our code SDP. You're going to get $20 off your tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with the promo code SDP. Make sure you click the link in the description in order to download the app. Hey, this episode's brought to you by BetterHelp. Now, I want to say that we've been talking about this for weeks. It is a tough time of year when you look at your watch and you go, wow, it's dark outside and it's 4:45. Stinks. Now, what did you were saying something earlier.
It's 10 days until the shortest day of the year, and then after December 21st, all the days get longer.
We start working backwards.
Yeah. But
Winter solstice.
But then it's cold, and it's really cold. And that can be hard on your mental health. And that's why we recommend, and this is something that I do every single month. Sometimes on the harder months, I go to every week. I'm not going to lie. Seeing a therapist.
Good for you.
You know, it can really, really help you. It's important to go to the gym. It's important to eat well. And it's important to make sure your mental health is taken care of. And the great thing about BetterHelp is there's plenty of ways that you can reach out. You get matched with somebody in like 48 hours. If that doesn't work out, because you need to have like a chemistry, right? Like I got a chemistry with these guys. You got to have a chemistry with your therapist, right?
Thanks, Boo.
Basically, if that doesn't work, then they'll switch you to somebody else, and maybe you try that out. You can do it over text. You can do it over video call. You can do it over phone call. And again, like we said, you can get started really, really quickly. It's the season of giving, and you should give to yourself with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/STP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/STP. So we kind of mentioned this earlier, but there were some violent ass moments in the NHL this weekend, and there's 3 specifically I want to talk about. The first one I want to talk about is Nick Cousins versus Erik Gudbranson. And
we're starting backwards.
We are. We're going to Tarantino this. We're starting moving backwards. So, Cousins, Gudbranson. If you missed it, it's okay, because if you're a Leafs fan, you've seen this before. I want you to remember what happened to Matthew Nyes in the playoffs last year with Sam Bennett, but this time it's Nick Cousins and Erik Gudbranson. Nick Cousins drives Gudbranson into the boards after a fight for the puck with a pretty blatant hit from behind, but where things kind of went awry is that he also made sure that he went head first. The head was driven down and into the boards in a very dangerous position. Gudbranson was down on the ice. There was some tussling afterwards. Gudbranson got back up, kind of like the Undertaker.
Yes.
and then,
like back when he used to drag guys through the ring.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes. So then, and I don't know if you guys saw this, there's video of Gudbranson saying to Pascal Vincent on the bench, "I'm going to get him."
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to fucking get him.
I haven't seen that, but yeah, I believe.
Yeah, and then he tries to fight him, and then Cousins won't fight him.
Right.
He's got a long memory for this. Not to make everything about the Leafs, but remember the Leafs-Canucks brawl, 2016. It was Matthews Marner's rookie year. It got out of hand. Burrows did some chicken shit stuff with Riley, and Riley went right back at him. And someone went at Komarov, and so Matt Martin goes, all right, I'm going at Troy Stecher, which was not cool. And like that's a pretty bad mismatch. And Stecher, I think, was a rookie at the time. So Gudbranson, and I think he got fined for this, was basically like, I'm going to kill you. A month later, the Leafs played the Canucks in Vancouver, and guess who Martin had to fight? Erik Gudbranson. Now, I know you're all wondering, April 11th. Unfortunately, the next time the Panthers and the Blue Jackets play is April 11th.
Now, when Gudbranson went after Cousins, he kind of got him from behind and bear hugged him and then threw him down and then started punching him when he was on the ice.
Yeah, that play is all Tkachuk's fault.
Why is that all Tkachuk's fault?
All Tkachuk's fault.
Why?
Watch the lead up to it. So Tkachuk has the puck, and Cousins is on the wing.
Yeah, he's on the board closest to the camera.
And the way Gudbranson swoops, it's almost like he's looking at Tkachuk going, pass it, you fuck, pass it. Because he wants it to go to Cousins so he can kill him. But if Tkachuk had just kept skating, Gudbranson's not going to touch him. He wants Cousins. If Tkachuk beat him wide, He might have gone after Cousins
Kachuk
anyway.
should have just held and skated.
Yes, he gave it to Cousins. Like it's tantamount to a suicide pass. Like even though it was like a perfectly standard play, like no, you know what's happening there. Go back and watch it. Go back and watch. He's like a dog on raw meat. Like Gudbranson wants him to pass that puck so bad, and Kachuk said, "Merry Christmas."
Now, there was a lot of people, mostly Florida Panthers fans, who came out and said, hey, okay, fine, you want to get him back, but like you threw him to the ice, because that's what he did.
Yeah.
And then you punched his head while he was on the ice.
Yeah.
And listen, if you're Gudbranson, if I'm Gudbranson and I'm seeing red mist and I'm also a gigantic man, he didn't give a shit that my head was hitting the boards. Why should I care about him? That's how he would look at it.
This is why Martin fought Gudbranson. And again, going back to 2016. There's what, we always talk about the code or whatever. There's a part of the code that says, give me my fight or something is going to go terribly, terribly wrong. And Matt Martin's now in this position where, okay, I stupidly attacked one of their rookies. Our team is basically exclusively rookies. So Gudbranson was faced with, or rather Cousins was faced with, I got to fight this guy willingly or unwillingly. And he chose unwillingly.
Yeah, he the problem with the whole issue is the refereeing not penalizing Nick Cousins with a match misconduct for the initial hit.
At very
like
least,
they allowed all of this to happen. We know what the hell Erik Gudbranson's gonna do. He got rocked and he's not gonna have it. He's gonna go get his piece of flesh.
This incident was old hockey guys talking out of both sides of their mouth, like to a T, because the recent discourse has been, the NHL is the no-hit league. Previously, now the NHL is becoming the no-fight league. People are acting like this didn't happen all the time back in the day. All the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s.
Oh, chicken shit stuff? All the time.
Maurice Richard broke his stick over a player's head. And when he got suspended, people were like, what?
He got suspended for the playoffs. There was a riot.
Yes!
People brought flares to the Montreal Forum and set them off inside.
Yes! Now, listen, if we had a player that good, I'd probably get that upset too. If no one had scored 50 goals ever and someone did it right in front of my eyes, I'd be like, that man is a deity/alien and I will protect him.
Yeah.
But those hits, the retribution that follows those hits, like I know we just had this discussion earlier in the show. Like, why do you got to answer for a clean hit?
It wasn't clean.
It wasn't.
No,
that's the problem. I think that is the crux of the issue, is that it was not a clean. Erik Gudbranson's not answering for anything.
No. So you did used to have to answer for clean hits. You definitely had to answer for dirty hits.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it wasn't a 5, they called it a 2. It ought to.
But the Panthers didn't have to. They really, throughout the playoffs last year, like if you look at just their series against the Leafs or even their series against Carolina, the chicken shit stuff that they pulled, which by the way was very effective, it got them to the Stanley Cup Finals. They didn't have to pay for that until Vegas said you're paying for that, and then
can't bully us.
Exactly. So I'm looking at this, and Jesse, I think you make a really, really good point. Nick Cousins got a 2-minute minor for boarding for that penalty, and if you go back and you look at it, everybody after we've calmed down and had a good sleep, everybody knows that's a 4-minute boarding. You can call a 4-minute. You don't even have to kick him out of the game.
Nah,
you could call a double minor on.
You're allowing this to happen because Nick Cousins bowed out of a fight that could have also that could have avoided the hey, I'm going to pummel you while you're turtled issue. Like if Nick Cousins fights Gudbranson before he gets pummeled to the ground, then that also solves the issue.
Yeah.
So it's like he's not going to fight him, so then Gudbranson's going to hit him. So you got to kick him out to avoid all of that, because if you're a referee in the NHL, is this not your job Do we not know that your job is not calling the rules of the rule book, but to manage a hockey game in the way that you can just control both sides and everything's kind of fair? You kick him out.
Now, wait, though. Listen to the way this is discussed. So, Gudbranson, the big defense of it being a 2 and not a 5 is Gudbranson is not defenseless because he shoulder checked and he knew Cousins was there. So, instantly, doesn't matter that you're driving him right between the shoulder blades and down in the numbers. Doesn't matter that that's exactly what we don't want in the game, what's been getting phased out of the game for well over a decade. The onus is solely on Gudbranson. Now
that's a problem.
Now Gudbranson wants to fight Nick Cousins. Do we agree that Cousins probably should have fought him?
Yes.
Yeah. Does he have to?
No.
No.
That's
So
what
the
happened.
onus is not on the player being attacked in this case then. So Gudbranson is about to get probably fined or suspended. I can't read your screen because I'm blind.
Columbus's Erik Gudbranson will have a hearing tomorrow under Rule 46.2,
it's a hearing.
aggressor for an altercation with Florida's Nick Cousins.
So like just to me with the hits, the conversation is completely backward. It starts with, well, what could have Gudbranson done differently? Mm-hmm. Like, listen, I understand like kids are not necessarily being taught to protect themselves.
They're not being taught to hit.
Right.
That's a problem, man. I do think that's going to be a
In
problem.
a contact
I don't
sport,
disagree.
You got to be taught how to take a hit and deliver one.
I don't
Do
agree
not
with that
disagree.
at all. I don't know what the hell they're doing in Hockey Canada. I
Do
don't
not
understand
disagree.
it.
But Gudbranson was drafted 2010. He's got gray in his beard. He's
Got
played
gray in his hair, dude. Wait, I saw him without a helmet on. Oh my god.
Oh, I know. Yeah, because he's not a kid anymore. Like this is like literally a grizzled, well-respected vet. Mm-hmm. So, and like Brodeen got hammered by Kane. I know we're going to talk about that. He's played hundreds and hundreds of games. Dylan Larkin's played hundreds and hundreds of games, although that's totally different. Like this isn't a case of kids these days. It's just a terrible friggin' hit.
And an unmanaged situation.
Yeah, you're talking about what Gudbranson can do. Gudbranson cannot beat a man who's turtling. You can't do that. Like, that's unacceptable. At the end of all of that hoopla, what he did at the very end is the worst act. Like, he has his hands over his head on the ground. You cannot beat a person like that in that position. That's unacceptable.
Well, because we've decided.
That is not retribution for this.
Yeah, but we've decided that that's ridiculous, that's too much, and we need to take that out of the game. We haven't made that decision with hits from behind.
With what Nick Cousins did to Erik Gudbranson. The other thing is, the reason Nick Cousins isn't going to fight Erik Gudbranson is because Erik Gudbranson's 6'4", and Nick Cousins is 5'11". And if everybody's lying...
No way!
Yes, Nick Cousins is 5'11".
I don't believe that.
And he might even be shorter.
I don't believe that for a second.
Because remember, they always lie about their height, right? They always lie about their height. Yeah.
Nick Cousins is shorter than Marner.
Apparently.
Get out of my face.
That's what NHL.com listened.
Hockey DB has Nick Cousins at 5.11.
I do not believe it.
5'11", 180 centimeters.
So Erik Gudbranson, who's a gigantic man, comes and rolls in and Nick Cousins and goes, "You're going to give up 5 inches on me, and you're going to fight me." But this the thing is that if you're looking at it for Branson's thing, don't run my head into the boards then if you don't want to fight me.
Don't hit guys from behind. Yeah. Now, it's supposed to be the officials in the league who tells you that, but they're not doing that.
So that's what happens.
So this is what I got to do. This is Gudbranson. By the way, that was a 2-1 game. The Blue Jackets could have won that game. And Gudbranson just decided, I am abandoning this hockey game. I'm abandoning this hockey game to send him a message that the officials refused to send.
And Cousins, here's the problem. Cousins got 2 minutes. Gudbranson got 29.
Didn't they get a 7-minute power play out of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah, you can't do that. This is what happens.
Yeah. Now,
this is what happens.
Let's talk about Dylan Larkin. And this one was very scary to watch. It appears, now we know Dylan Larkin and Matthew Joseph have a bit of a history here. We also know that Dylan Larkin's got a neck injury history.
Yes.
But I
because
don't...
of Jamie Benn.
So what's crazy?
Oh my god!
Who just wields his stick like a fucking axe?
I don't know.
No one gives a shit.
For anybody who doesn't remember, it was one of the most egregious things ever done on ice.
And was JB Benn suspended for that?
That's what I'm looking up right now. I don't think he was. I think he might have been fine.
Let me explain the situation while Jesse's
Fucking
looking that
joke.
up. Matthew Joseph and Dylan Larkin have had some history. They're a bit rival. And you know what? Again, Ottawa and Detroit are two teams that want to be competitive. Only one of them really is right now.
They got a rivalry right now.
They do have a rivalry,
Yeah,
but like
DeBrincat.
Detroit's really taken a step forward. Ottawa hasn't. We're still lacking. There's still time.
Yeah.
But it seems as though this play, when I watch it, I see some sticks where they shouldn't be, but I don't see like I want to take his head off.
It's a freak accident.
It did feel like that. So then what happens is Dylan Larkin. So Matthew Joseph's stick is up high, his hand is up high, hits Dylan Larkin in the side of the head.
You could maybe call it roughing.
For sure. And then he falls to the ice. David Perron, who is skating away, turns around, and all he sees is Dylan Larkin lying on the ice and Artem Zub standing above him. And he goes, well, I'm going to have to kill you now. And you could see Artem Zub go, no, with the glove. Like please don't cross-check me in the face.
It's not funny. But like we talk about this all the time. We were at a Marlies game where Stuart Percy got hit from behind.
Yes.
One of the 19 times that he did. There's another guy that hockey just did not protect. And Rich Clune confetti gloves and beats up the wrong guy.
Yeah, I remember that. Now,
he grabbed the wrong guy.
The thing I want to say about this is that Dylan Larkin is on the ice. His arm is up like this and his other arm's like that. That's not a hockey player who's about to get up.
No.
Blow it dead. Blow it dead.
Was the play not done?
The play, yeah, no.
Was the play dead?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was like, I'm sitting there like, what the is
you
going
probably
on?
couldn't hear the whistle over all the hoopla.
Probably.
Yeah.
And then you see Matthew Joseph signaling the Detroit bench, like, get out here, get out here.
Yeah.
So, to me, I mean, this seems like a case of mistaken identity at best.
It is. And like Perron's going to have to pay the piper.
They're saying, Wyshynski was saying like 6 to 9 games. And he's got no prior.
It's a little much.
I don't understand that. I'm not going to lie. I don't understand that at all. And I'm usually for harsher suspensions. I think it's just the nature of it. Like it's unprovoked and they don't want this to happen again. But you set a standard for what a cross-check to the face is.
Which is Austin Matthews on Rasmus Dahlin.
It's 2 games. And then every time it's happened since, the NHL goes, 1 game? What am I going to do with a fine? Right? Like they so rarely meet that 2-game standard. And now we're going to get 6 to 9 for a player with no priors.
If David
I'm not
Perron
understanding
did this to the right guy, so let's say he goes after Parker Kelly, who was like bumping into
Behind him.
Matthew Joseph.
It's 2 games.
Who had then hit Dylan Larkin. It was that whole incident. If he goes after Kelly or Joseph, is it less games?
100%.
Do you think is it like 2 or is it 1?
No, I think honestly the part of this that everyone keeps complaining about is and he grabbed the wrong guy. No one's focused on the fact that he cross-checked.
Yeah.
In the
So
face.
is he getting a 4-game suspension for grabbing the wrong? So if you say it's 2, no, because it's 6, right? We're saying 6 to 9.
That's what Wish was speculating. I'm not saying that that's necessary.
So it's going to be 6 to 9. Let's say it's 6 on the low end. If you think a cross check to the face is 2, is a 4-game suspension the correct amount for hitting the wrong guy? Because that's what that would be.
I'd even 4 would be stiff. That's a stiff suspension. It's going to cost them probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. 6 to 9.
So what should
where
be the
does
tax?
6 to 9 come from?
What should be because it's the tax for hitting the wrong guy. That's
Yes.
where you're getting the extra 4 games. So should the tax be 1 game? So it should
No,
be a
not 1
3-game suspension.
No, you start it. It's a cross check to the face. So for me, again, I go back to Matthews and Dahlin. It starts at 2,
Yes.
and then goes up.
Yes.
So
So what's the tax?
I'd say 4
So you get an extra 2 because it's the wrong person.
because it's the wrong person, and also I think Matthews hit Dahlin with a standing cross check. This dude flew in like Superman. You could argue 5. And I also, this is important, and I know people always say it doesn't matter. It super matters. Is Zub hurt? Did Zub continue in that game?
I don't. There's not like a major injury or anything.
Okay.
The injury we're worried about is Larkin, who's they said it avoided major injury, but is still going to be out for a little bit.
And he's had a hard enough season as it is. That's so brutal.
So here's what Greg said. He said, to clarify something on David Perron hearing that I've seen questioned. Players who are offered an in-person hearing by the Department of Player Safety can choose how they want the hearing. So they can go to New York City on a plane, or they can save the trip and do it over Zoom. And that's what they're going to do. For what it's worth, I would be extremely surprised if David Perron got double digits for this cross-check on Artem Zub, who returned to the game. Perron doesn't have priors. The, quote, heat of the moment argument is a non-starter for Department of Player Safety, so it'll be between 6 to 9 games. Now, I'm not against Perron getting that, because you, as the Department of Player Safety, you literally cannot have that. You can't have that.
Isn't he wrong with the between 6 and 9? Because isn't it 5 the minimum for in person?
His guess is between 6 and 9. That's his guess.
Yeah.
You have the option to do more than 5 with an in-person hearing. You don't have that option with anything else.
Yeah, if it's not in person, it's going to be 4 or less.
Yes.
Right?
I believe so. I think it could be 5 or less.
5.
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
It feels like 4 or less, and then 5 over is the full hearing.
So I think he needs to dial. It's 5 to 9. I think is in there.
Yeah.
Spezza got fucking 6. 6 for his hit on, I think it was Josh Morrissey, in a 56 game season.
The Department of Player Safety always, if you look at who's been suspended and had no priors, they actually hit the guys with no priors harder than they hit the guys with priors. It's a weird thing that happens, but when you look at like that Nick Cousins hit, is that any less dangerous than what Perron did to Zub?
No.
But those are two tougher guys, right? And they're going to let that.
They're both bad.
They're both bad, right? Right.
And they're different ways.
But they're bad in different ways, but are they any less dangerous?
Well, your body
so,
contact is allowed, and they allow for a margin of error with body contact.
Yeah, but his hand is
they don't allow
trying to swirl him into the boards
or cross checks of the face.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between using your stick for infractions and then as opposed to using your body.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So my point is, when I look at the Spezza suspension, which should have been a suspendable play.
Yeah, but the 6 came out of nowhere.
Jamie Benn swinging his stick around like he cracked Austin Matthews back in half last year to begin the season.
You want to talk about a rigged league?
It's weird that way. It really is. If you look at
for him
past suspensions, it's the guys like Perron and Matthews and some of these other guys. You're like, they had no priors, and that almost seems to work against them because it's such a surprise.
Yeah, because the way the rules are written is that the instance is taken inside of a vacuum, right? They're not looking at things that happened before unless it's a recent suspension where you did something like a week ago or within the last couple months is actually how it's written. They're not looking at like, hey, how does this guy play on a day-to-day? Is he a dirty guy? Like none of that is taken into consideration.
Right, which I don't know.
Steve, what do you...
Should.
I'm trying to find... Ben's penalty for hospitalizing Dylan Larkin for the neck injury. I can't find it.
Well, and this is the thing, right? So I've always found that to be a weird one. Now, I thought you'd find this interesting. We had a oh wait, you know what? There's more stuff to hit.
Yeah, we got like 3 more.
Yeah. So I want to talk
on the ice.
The next one I had was
sorry, just to confirm. There was no penalty called on the play, and Ben received no discipline. Fucking joke.
Okay, so the next one I want to talk about is Kyle Connor and Dylan Strome. Kyle Connor, did you not see this knee on knee?
Oh,
yeah.
I did.
So Kyle Connor is, shooting a backhand to the net. It's a bit of a weak shot, and Dylan Strome comes across and is like, "You're gonna leave with one less leg."
It's extremely bad.
And Mark Scheifele immediately steps up and fights Dylan Strome, which I respect.
As he should have. Good for him.
Strome kicked out of the game for attempt to injure, and it looks like he's going to have a meeting with Department of Player Safety as well.
Has not been announced yet.
Hasn't been announced.
No, there's nothing on their Twitter account about that. But there's the the knee on knee there.
This is the kind of hit, guys, where I understand them wanting to throw the book at Perron.
Oh,
you have got to throw the book at this stuff. Kyle Connor is one of the best goal scorers in the National Hockey League.
He might never be the same. Or this is the type of knee on knee collision where you could never be the same.
And I want to understand, like, what's the purpose here? What's Dylan Strome really trying to do?
He's getting a piece of the guy.
And this is where it kind of sucks, right? Because you're like, man, that is a player. Kyle Connor is a guy that sells tickets. That's a guy I want to watch. That's a 40-goal scorer multiple times. Why is Dylan Strome on the Nothing Ducks?
Ryan Strome.
What's that?
Ryan
Strome, excuse me. Why is Ryan Strome? What is this? What the hell is this? And this is where I feel...
It's bad. It's really bad.
You got to have... That's got to be... And this is where I feel like they should change things. Knee on knee should be a minimum. And it should be a minimum of a lot.
No, they will never set standards. Like they refuse to police the NHL in the way that society at large has deemed the law should work. Yeah. Where, hey, if you do this, you get this. They will not write that down so that Gary Bettman and George Perron can say, hey, this individual instance, today I'm feeling this way, so I'm going to hand it out. There should be a minimum punishment for all these things. Knee on knee especially, Adam. Like, you're so right about this is so dangerous and has no place for anything. Same with hits from behind. Same with using your stick against somebody's head, and they won't write a rule book that has minimums for these infractions, and it's disgraceful to the sport.
Of all the things, and I'll let you jump in here.
Sure.
Of all the things in hockey, knee on knees bother me the most because they are completely avoidable. You don't have to do a knee on knee. It's not usually it's not by accident.
One of the most difficult injuries to rehab.
Well, but it's also one of the easiest ones to avoid. I can understand there being some gray area. Somebody hits somebody else. One person thinks it's dirty. Another person doesn't. We talk about it in this show, put it on fucking TikTok, and both sides are calling us idiots. Like, there are things that are obviously gray areas, and that's part of a violent sport, and I'm into that. I like that.
I get it.
I don't understand this and not being like it's such chicken shit, bullshit, you're a loser kind of stuff. And I hope that the Winnipeg Jets remember this. Oh, they've been a great team. They're first in their division. I hope that when they play again, and I don't know when they play the Ducks again, Strome's got to be a marked man. Like, if the refs aren't going to do something, and they did kick him out of the game, but if Department of Player Safety doesn't do something about this, the Winnipeg Jets are going to.
See, this is the dangerous thing that we get into, right? And we all know that the Ducks took a number here. Or, sorry, rather, the Jets took a number here.
And it's 16, by the way.
And it's 16. We cannot ever, as a sport, have a repeat of Bertuzzi-Moore. And that was so incredibly avoidable because what a lot of people forget about that incident. So basically, I know this happened in 2003, and a lot of you are too young, so let me go back. There was a game between the Avalanche and the Canucks. Steve Moore hits Marcus Naslund, who at the time was one of the best players in the world.
Yep.
And it wasn't great, and I think Naslund was hurt on the play. The next time they played, the game got out of hand. The Canucks basically did not show up for a hockey game. The Avalanche killed them. It was like 8-1 or something like that, and Steve Moore had one of the goals. Moore got beat to shit all night and had to fight. Now, usually by the code, that's where it ends.
You do your fight, it's over.
Mm-hmm. They decided they hadn't had enough. He gets punched from behind by Todd Bertuzzi, while he was still standing. And multiple people involved got fined and suspended, not because of their actions during the game, but because of the premeditation of it. Right? So this is where the league has to do their fucking job here. Now, you could argue that nothing would have prevented the Canucks Avalanche thing because the Canucks got their pound of flesh and decided that wasn't enough for that incident. But we got to be real careful with that whole taking a number shit. It's got to be dealt with the right way.
What are the Winnipeg Jets supposed to do?
Well, this is what they've got to do is, you know what? Here's an example. I think it was either Blake Wheeler hit Malkin or Malkin hit Wheeler. I can't remember. They're two stars who are often injured. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, one of them injured the other. And then the next time they played against each other, I think it was Wheeler injured Malkin. And he goes, you know what? All right, I'll take my lumps. And they fought, and it was done with. It was over with. Ryan Strome's got I know he got kicked out of the game for intent to injure. I know he's probably going to get suspended. The way this works is he's got to willingly give the Jets their pound of flesh, and it's over. And it needs to be over.
Yeah, you're talking about what they can do. We can only say what they can't do, and that's you can't injure somebody on purpose when you're playing hockey. Like,
right.
You can't go out there and do that.
Now, here's another big problem, and this is why I regularly call for longer suspensions. I think part of the reason they don't give longer suspensions is you don't get paid for those games, and it costs you a wild amount of money. And then the fines are $5,000, which is a joke. So there's got to be some good middle ground. 2.4. Is that a big number? Does that sound like a big number?
2.4 what?
Percent.
Okay.
Zach Hyman had his season ruined by a knee-on-knee hit by Alex Edler. Years ago. I can't remember which year.
I think that was the year that Babcock put him up against Bergeron in the playoffs with a bad knee.
With a bad knee.
In the face-off dot shorthanded.
This dude coached Team Canada. Anyway.
2018, I think.
Ruined his season. 2 games. That's all Edler had to pay. So if that's the standard here, and Ryan Strome can ruin the knee of one of the best goal scorers in the sport, probably put him out a month or two, and it only costs him 2.4% of the season, we have a problem.
Right. Now, let me move on to Evander Kane here. If you didn't see the hit, Evander Kane and Jonas Brodin were racing for a puck behind the net. This is sort of why they got rid of the whole racing for the icing puck. I remember those. Those hits used to be devastating. It looked exactly like that, only it wasn't an icing.
It broke a player's femur,
and
I'm pretty sure.
Brodin goes in to play the puck, doesn't shoulder check, as far as I can remember, and Kane crushes him from behind. Absolutely crushes him. Oh, no, he does shoulder check on the way. So what'll happen, he goes like this, okay, looks over his left shoulder, tries to play the puck around behind Kane because Kane is coming forward. Brodin tries to play it off his backhand, and Kane does not let up on this hit.
That's a terrible hit.
One bit. Now, there are going to be people out there, purists, some purists will say he shoulder checked. He should know. He should put himself in better position.
The onus is on the hitter. I don't get it.
And if you look at where he hits, it's up. It's not even in the middle of the back. It's up near the neck. His arm is high. And it's just So that's the Ryan Hartman hit right there.
Like, I understand that Brodin has a responsibility to protect himself. But what about, no one ever talks about the responsibility of the guy laying the hit.
How high up his elbow is?
Yeah, no one ever talks about the responsibility of the guy laying the hit to lay a hit properly. And I don't understand why. Because, what do we want? Don't we want a league with hitting? Yes, there are rules around the hitting. I don't understand the childlike naivety of that.
We see clean hits all the time.
Why don't you understand?
We see clean hits all the time.
We see clean hits all the time.
And they're big, too.
Literally thousands upon thousands of them every season. And they're awesome. A big clean hit is awesome. When Sam Bennett absolutely rocked Jacob Slavin's world in the third round last year, I didn't see any people crying for Slavin.
No.
It wasn't, listen, you don't like seeing a guy cold cock like that. But hit got nothing because
it was a clean hit.
It's a good hit. Shit. Really vicious, violent, devastating. But even Slavin himself was like, yep, well, clean hit. Like, it's not the no-hit league. You're being lied to. You're being lied to by people who are grasping onto something they miss and they can't even describe. You're being lied to. If you just want, watch fucking those slap fighting matches then. If that's all you want, is just guaranteed brain damage. If that's something that, fuck yeah, you're super stoked about, there are other sports you can watch. But in this sport, there are rules of engagement, and I don't know why there's even a debate about this.
Michael Russo tweeted that night, December 9th, hearing no discipline is coming to Evander Kane because likely Brodin shoulder checks. Didn't protect himself despite the fact that Evander Kane needlessly drives his head into the glass. And like I said,
so it's Brodin's fault.
Go watch
it's
the
Brodin's fault then.
Because Evander Kane's arm is high. Now, Ryan Hartman does go after him later on in the game, but it was sort of like a nothing. Like they just sort of roll over each other and Hartman gets a penalty.
Not according to Kane.
What did he say?
Kane accused Ryan Hartman of intentionally dragging his skate across Kane's face. Because Hartman sort of falls over him.
Missed that.
And he publicly, to the media, accused Hartman of dragging his skate across Kane's face.
That's not good.
That the next Wild Oilers game is going to be extremely ugly.
Yeah. Well, so those are some pretty big incidents in one weekend for all that to happen.
Yeah. So Matt, if you want to bring up that one, that's Hartman on top of Kane there, and he goes this way. So you'll see he goes over the top of him. And he's saying,
I hope that's not what happened.
That's
no way.
It's not what happened. It's Kane Stern shit.
Yeah.
No. Well, he's taken attention off of his bad hit. That's going to get no discipline.
Yeah.
It was because Brodin shoulder check. What the fuck? So you shoulder checked. You know I'm coming. So I can do
whatever
I want. No one started wearing neck guards until someone died.
Yeah.
And nothing's going to be done about this until someone's paralyzed. I'm telling you.
It's a very odd explanation for why things are the way they are. I don't understand it.
You're clearly putting the message out there. If a guy shoulder check, and you know what's gonna happen now, Adam? Guys are gonna stop shoulder checking.
I don't think so. I don't think you want to die.
No, they're putting
That's a good way to die. It's a really good way to die.
They talked about it on 32 Thoughts today. Why do guys not protect themselves? And they're like, well, number one, I have my back to my opponent because I'm protecting the puck, and number two, I might draw a call. Hockey players are nuts. I don't think they're thinking in that moment, what if I get hurt? They're thinking about staying in the league.
Like, there's no two ways about what a Kane did to Brodin because he hit him in the back in the numbers, and it doesn't matter if he shoulder checked or not. That's a penalty, and the refs missed the call is what it was. I don't think that hit is a suspension. I don't think Kane should be suspended for that. I think it should have been a penalty on the ice. Like, I don't know if it's 5 in a game, but I think that's what it should have been in the moment. And I don't know if you suspend him because it was not called, but in the moment that should have been 5. Mm-hmm. You hit him right in the numbers.
I mean, anything that's 5 is probably considered at least a conversation when it comes to a suspension.
Not everything that's 5 is suspended.
I agree.
Yeah,
but it at least warrants a conversation.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the refs they need to get the games under control because that's crazy that what Ryan Hartman does there. He gets the penalty and Evander Kane gets to go free in that instance.
It does feel like it was a bad weekend for refs. It really does.
We don't even have them all. Like Erik Robertson on Robinson, on Justin Barron
in his first game with the Sabres, I think.
And Kyle Okposo called it out because Robinson it was 5 in a game.
Yes.
And then what was the hit against Buffalo? We have to go back even further. What was the hit against a Buffalo player that wasn't even penalized? And Okposo basically goes, what's the difference between the two? Like, we have to go back to, it's Monday right now. Like, what do we got to go back to? Like Thursday?
Yeah.
So there's no difference in my mind between the Robinson hit and the Kane hit. Like, it's the same exact hit that he delivers. And and this was 5 in a game, and I don't think we think that Erik Robinson should be suspended. I think we think, hey, that's
5 in a game.
That's 1 game suspension right there. You got 5 in a game, and I think the same should have been handed out to Evander Kane. Also, what Ryan Hartman did was awful. Like, you shouldn't be doing that.
What, the skate?
No, just attacking Kane in the middle of the ice when there's nothing going on. You can't do that.
I know, but that's what happens. We just talked about it with another incident. If you don't get the game under control, players will police it themselves.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
No, I know. I know. I would even argue this Robinson hit is more. I mean, the still you have on the screen right now is fucking awful. Mm-hmm. But he approaches more from the side than Kane did. But I agree. Yeah, 5 in a game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Okposo's right to be frustrated. He's like, I don't understand the difference.
Yeah. They're the exact same play.
I want to talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins a little bit. Jesse Puljujärvi was signed to a PTO this weekend. And today, Kyle Dubas spoke to the media and said that he believes that Mike Sullivan is the coach. He said to, quote, help us.
Oh, that's always good.
They are currently tied with the Buffalo Sabres for 7th, or I guess in the conference, I should say. They're 13th in the conference. 7th last, or there was they were 7 out of a wild card spot. I was trying to say, I got too fancy is what I'm saying. They're tied with the Sabres, and it's not good. Columbus Blue Jackets are only 2 points behind the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Ottawa Senators, who have played 4 less games, are only 3 points away from the Pittsburgh Penguins. And need I remind you that the Ottawa Senators are 500. Right now, the Pittsburgh Penguins are at a 41 winning percentage. They are behind the Montreal Canadiens, behind the badly struggling Hurricanes, the Devils without Hughes. This is not a great. Again, we could talk about how things can change, and we've seen it happen. We saw St. Louis. We'll always go back to St. Louis. Also, if you want to see a bunch of really upset Penguins fans, you should check out our Instagram page. There's when we were talking about, if the Penguins were bad, would Sidney Crosby play somewhere else? And there were some very upset people from Pittsburgh there. Guys, what do you do here?
IG chirps are like the least intelligent ones because it's just children.
Yeah,
It's just
people are like, don't you understand Pittsburgh? Most players stay here till the end. I'm like, you're right. Yager stayed.
I can't believe someone asked who let bro cook again.
I just want to say, I think this was a flawed team from the start.
Yeah.
Extraordinarily flawed.
And they're having a little bit more injury luck than they usually do. Like, usually it's...
Letang's not out with a career-threatening injury this year?
Well, oh, man, we didn't have to use an ECHL player before Christmas. That's pretty good for us. They have the worst injury luck in the world.
Malkin's playing a full year.
And their stars are playing well, too.
Really well.
Larkin and Crosby are far better than anyone should hope anyone in their mid to late 30s could play.
So I want to know, and I know it's early, what's the end goal with the Penguins this year?
And Jari's not playing poorly.
To me, it feels like this is Kyle Dubas saying, we're trying this one last time with the Sidney Crosby group. We'll keep Sid, but I think if this continues, there's changes, major ones, this offseason.
Well, what are you doing? Any other team. I think the reason people got very upset is because we talked about the idea of Sidney Crosby not finishing his career in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. If you don't make the playoffs this year, it'll be back-to-back. If you don't come close to making the playoffs, because last year they just missed it.
Yep.
They choked.
Like a point or two.
This year, you have the potential to not just miss back-to-back, but go backwards. Do even worse than you did last year. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of really talented but really old players. Any other team in the NHL, if you rip the nameplates off and just looked at the numbers and accomplishments, any other team, you're like, oh, yeah, no, that's an easy tear it down. Oh, and they also have no prospects or picks? Yeah, of course you tear it down.
They don't have their first round or the third round or their fifth round this year already.
You either got to commit and trade all your remaining picks
next year
to try to right the ship, or you do the thing any logical team would do in their position and tear it down.
They have 4 guys currently on the roster who are emergency loans.
Holy shit!
This is Dubas textbook.
100%.
Just maximize the rules. Go ahead, Jess. What do you want to say?
Just one thing before I make a point about Pittsburgh. Before we get too far away from it, Jack Hughes is healthy.
He is?
Devils fan, Adam Wilde.
I'm sorry. I have not watched the Devils much lately. They haven't given me much to watch.
He was out for a bit.
Like a month ago.
He sure was out for a bit.
Yeah. The Pittsburgh Penguins. One thing I am a believer right now currently in Kyle Dubas sticking with the plan, because when you look into some of the numbers, they're actually really good. And what it looks like is they just can't figure out special teams, because right now
weird.
At 5-on-5, the Pittsburgh Penguins are 5th in the league in goals for.
That's
right.
At
5-on-5.
What about goals against?
No. In goals for, 5-on-5, they're 5th in league.
That's great.
In all situations in goals for, they're 25th.
Holy shit!
And if you look at their power play percentage right now, it currently sits at, let me see, their power play percentage is third last in the league.
Wow. That sure feels like a coach is about to get fired.
Look who's bottom, though.
The Caps and Blues.
The Caps are in a playoff spot, aren't they?
No, they've fallen out.
Oh, they've fallen out? The damn Metro, man.
I know, it's crazy. Metro's wild this
If
year.
they had a decent power play, they have their jump from in the goals for just in all situations skyrockets, and they're probably in a playoff spot right now.
Oh,
so do you just sit around and you say, let's figure out the coaching and just figure out our power play, and maybe the wins start coming?
Yes, because it's December. Like, I'm not saying tear down the Pittsburgh Penguins. All right, use your ears, use your brain. I'm not saying tear down the Pittsburgh Penguins, but if this continues into the trade deadline, you have to look at it.
I don't look at this and say that it's a player issue.
It's that feels like a coach issue.
Well,
and not even a head coach issue. It feels like your assistant coach issue.
But Mike Sullivan's been there for 6 or 7 years.
Long time now.
Like, he won the Cups with them, right? By the way, I lied to you because the Capitals won a couple games this weekend, so now they're back in the playoffs.
That's
because
hilarious.
it's so tight. It's so tight.
It's very tight.
But
the Islanders surged.
But Jesse, I think you make a really good point there, man. Like, look at what's happened with Edmonton. You know, we just talked about Evander Kane. What we should be talking about is they're on a 7-game win streak. And, I always want to call him Chuck Knobloch. He's not, but Chris Knobloch, their coach.
Chuck Knobloch.
Because I'm a baseball fan too, you know.
Way down here.
The craziest stance I've ever seen. Yeah. Chris Knobloch's done come in and just let them be themselves, and they become themselves. And the Oilers, oh man, that's crazy. The Oilers are good at hockey. That's so weird.
Isn't that what every midseason coach does?
So this is my question though. Is Dubas is really, really aggressive on certain things and really, really conservative on others. Mike Sullivan's not his coach. That's not the guy he hired.
No.
But if I'm Dubas, and this is how Dubas operates, guys, he's going, okay, if not him, then who? Mike Sullivan and Kyle Dubas probably have a good working relationship right now. I bet they're, Sullivan is taking Dubas's criticisms and his praise under hat, like, hey, do more of this, do less of that. I'm sure Mike Sullivan's been open to that, unlike, Brent Sutter and Brad Treliving. Not Brent Sutter. What the heck is
the
his
other
name?
one?
The other, one of the 18 million Sutters
right.
in the NHL. The point I'm trying to make here is, it seems like the Penguins are due for a coaching change. Mm-hmm. Who do you hire? And that's how Dubas looks at this stuff. A lot of teams are a lot more impetuous than that. He's very like, by the book. We're going to do our system. We are going to pull Blake Snell. We are going to pull Jose Barrios in the 6th inning.
I'll never forgive Dubas for fucking saying that.
I know. Like, he is that kind of guy. So who do you hire? It's not going to be Bruce Boudreau. Who are you going to hire?
So wait, we agree that the team is fine. It's a coaching problem.
I would agree.
And he's not going to do anything about the coaching problem.
I think that's a compelling argument that Jesse made.
And Adam, you briefly mentioned goals against, and I wanted to get the goals for stat in there. If you look at the goals against, it's the Kings, the Boston Bruins, and then the Pittsburgh Penguins.
So what are we doing?
Crazy.
It's a coaching issue.
It's a coaching issue.
You know what? They should go out and get Erik Karlsson, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Jake Gensel, Chris Letang. Like, why isn't this working?
Right.
It should work.
And it is working based on a lot of numbers, except in certain situations where you can derive coaching strategy from. It's not working with the Penguins.
Can we look at what their shorthanded ranks at in the NHL? Is there their shorthanded percentage?
What is their special team plus minus? So basically, how many power play goals do they have, and how many shorthanded goals do they have against?
Can you
sorry, how many?
I'm looking for their shorthanded percentage. I'm not even looking that far.
Their penalty kill percentage?
Yeah.
Or
what's their PK percentage?
Their PK percentage is decent. It's top half of the league. I had it here.
What?
Yeah, no, the penalty kill, they're sitting 10th.
Then what about the power play?
What? That's what I'm telling you. The power play fucking sucks, and that seems to be the only issue. They're 10th in the league in the penalty kill. They're literally 3rd from the bottom in power play. They're in 5-on-5 all situations. They're 5th in the league, and in all situations in goal for the 25th. It's a power play issue.
So they must not even be getting. So their power play is bad by percentages, and they also must not be getting many opportunities.
What's their power play percentage right now?
9.5.
Holy shit.
That's unbelievable.
That's an above. Okay, in comparison, the top team in the league on the PP is the New Jersey Devils, who are shooting at a 30 or scoring at a 32% rate.
So
the difference. That's a death sentence.
32 and 9.
So
you know how
all
many goals there are in that chasm of percentage?
All they have to do is get it to 15%, and they're in the playoffs.
Like, this might be a
Who's
little
their
bit of a
offensive
coaching
coach?
issue. Fix your fucking coaching, Dubas.
So, okay, what is net power? Okay, what's net PP percentage and net PK percentage?
Net is power play. That's the difference between the PP and the PK.
So where do they rank there?
On the net PP is dead last, 4.1%.
I think we might have found it there, folks.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. They're
Holy shit.
dead last. They're with the Blackhawks at the bottom.
They're getting 32.8 shots per game.
They're getting demolished on the fucking power play. They can't score.
They're out shooting their opponents every game.
Which Adam? Do you know which assistant coach there's running the power play?
I'm looking. I'm currently reading penguinpoop.com because there was an article in October about how potentially they should make changes. Now, Todd Reardon and Mike Vellucci, who both have head coaching experience in the NHL, are assistant coaches currently. But Reardon was the guy that replaced Barry Trotz. Vellucci won the Calder Cup with Charlotte in 2019. And I still can't get a read on who the offensive coach is here. I'm looking. They just say associate coach.
Hold on. It's a goaltending issue. Tristan Jarry has a 9.18.
What the fuck, man?
9.18 in 2023.
That's incredible.
No, it's a fucking goaltending issue.
That's got to be one of the best.
Amazing.
In 20 games, he has a 9.18. That's got to be one of the best in the league.
If you had said, if any, we all do season previews and we're just guessing, right?
Oh, yeah.
If anybody in their season preview anywhere said, you know what, guys, the thing that'll hold the Penguins back this year is a bullshit power play. It won't be any of the other issues. It won't be over-reliance on...
They got a 100-point defenseman.
A goaltender who's up and down. It won't be any of that. It'll be... I'm sorry, Sidney Crosby, Erik Karlsson, and Evgeny Malkin can't get it done.
So this is Dubas Blake Snelling it again. Because we've gone through it and we're like, they're good at this, they're good at this, they're good at this, they're good at this. This is the obvious problem. And he's like, no, absolutely not.
I'm sure they're trying. I always give credit to the guys who are actually in the game, because if I realize something just looking at public numbers, I'm sure they know it and they're trying.
Yes.
But whatever you're trying isn't working.
Mid-season arrives fast.
Whatever
we
you're
talked
doing,
about it. The
not
difference between, like, what are we, 25 games into the season for them?
Yeah.
The difference between 10 to 15 games into the season versus 25 is, hey, we're going to get out of it, versus full-blown crisis. This is the clock not closer to midnight for the Pittsburgh Penguins than it is for almost any other team in the league? Like, just based on roster construction. They're old. They're fucking old, but talented. Great individual talent. No team is better primed for a rebuild than the Pittsburgh Penguins. If they decide to pull the trigger on that, no one's better equipped.
But if they can get their power play going and get
They could win the cup.
then then shoot every pick you have into the sun and augment that roster.
So, it's like, when the power play goes away in the playoffs, like, who wants to play Pittsburgh?
Nobody.
They got to get there. They got to get there. Yeah. And one of the oldest forward groups in the entire National Hockey League. No one on their roster currently is under the age of 23.
Yeah.
In terms of the
and
forward.
Achari's out. Nieto's out. P.O. Joseph's out. Chad Bruwiedel's out. So
That's not sinking you. It's not good.
It's not
but
good.
It's not.
No, Noel
sinking
Achari's
you.
not going to fix your power play. And if it does, you're a bad team.
Didn't he get some time in the Leafs second unit? Like, there are some things to talk about, or positive things to talk about. Mark Johnstone. Mm-hmm. You know what? It's a little funny because he was an AHL contract with the Marlies, and Dubas said, I'm so fucking smart. I'm going to take him and bring him to Pittsburgh. He's got an NHL deal and he's playing NHL games. Good for him.
Yeah, that was a great story to see.
Great story. Really cool.
Here's one that sucks. Jeff Carter, on the last year of his deal, $3.125 million. Now, this contract sucked. This is a Ron Hextall era contract, but this contract sucked the second it was signed, and Penguins fans have been grumbling about it since it was signed.
He fell off the moon.
Guys, he had 29 points in 79 games last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That was the first of the 3-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because before that, he had 45 in 76 games.
Yeah.
This year, he has played 20 games. Mm-hmm. How many points does Jeff Carter have?
Okay, so here's the game. David Kampf has 6.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have more than David Kampf? I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
He has 8.
Okay, Jesse, what's your guess?
7.
See, the game you should have played is, does he have more points than Connor Brown?
Oh my God!
no.
And he has one more point than Connor Brown.
Oh.
How many?
2 points in 20 games. Connor Brown, 19 games, 1 assist.
How many points does Reeves have?
I think more. No, he's got 2. He's got one. He's got one.
So Ryan Reeves
got
and
an
Jeff
assist, I think,
Carter
doesn't
have the same amount of points this year?
he? Yeah. No, Jeff Carter's got one more point. Same amount of goals, though.
Jeff Carter's got 3 points.
1 point.
Oh, and Ryan,
Sorry, 2 points. Connor Brown with 1 point. Jeff
Ryan
Carter has a
Reeves.
goal and an assist.
Ryan Reeves has
1 goal.
1 goal.
1 goal, and that's it.
And he's played 1 less game.
So Jeff Carter's got 2 more points than Steve Dangle this year.
Yes.
Okay.
That's rough.
How is he in the lineup?
Because he makes 3.125, man.
Where's he playing?
Because no one is going to... Nobody.
What's his,
Pittsburgh.
Nobody is
Aren't you
taking
paying attention?
no, like what's his line look like? Where's he playing?
It probably looks like NHL player, ship anchor.
that. Yeah. Emergency loan.
Carter, Eller, Hinestroza is what they got for third line.
Oh, dear.
It's not great.
It's not great.
They have a John Gruden?
Yeah, went from
Wow,
the,
they had to call up the Marlies head coach.
went from the Raiders to the
right.
Penguins.
The Raiders to Marlies head coach to the Penguins' fourth line. Stop naming your kids John Gruden. There's too many.
There's a lot of them.
And
That's
you know what?
enough.
The most famous John Gruden does have a great reputation. So you
no,
I don't know
he
anything
does
about
not.
So maybe you want to stay away from that.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't doing pregame speeches like, man, the Taliban really had it together. But like Sean
Jesus,
McCormick.
I saw that.
McDermott. Yeah, no, I don't. If anybody didn't get that reference,
Yeah, Sean McCormick, who's the head coach.
McDermott.
McDermott is the head coach of the Bills. He gave a speech in 2019 talking about getting on the same page and referenced the Taliban.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Al Qaeda?
Al Qaeda, and the memes from it have been hysterical. And he apologized for it, by the way. It just resurfaced online. The point is, the Penguins don't make sense right now on the power play. What do you do?
Is Carter on their power play?
did you figure out who's the coach?
I can't. They just say associate coaches. It's Reardon or
could
the other
ask
guy,
somebody.
Vellucci.
According to Daily Faceoff, they say
Vellucci
Malkin. According to Daily Faceoff, they say Malkin, Crosby, Gensel, Letang, Carlson.
I mean, that's what you would put out there.
What's the second one?
Jeff Carter, Lars Eller, can you give me that last one?
Valtteri Puustinen.
Puustinen, Riley Smith, and Marcus Pettersson.
Dude, he can't be on your second unit. There's no justification for it. He has 2 points. He's averaging a point every 10 games.
The thing is, though, that first power play unit, it should never get to the second because that
never get off
first
the ice.
No, they should
unit
never play.
should score 1 million goals in 2 seconds.
By the way, Riley Smith has also been a really good pickup for the Pens this year. People have been pretty happy with him.
At what point? Okay, I want to know how often Chris Letang is taken off the first power play unit for a forward. Like, couldn't you have switched Letang and Pettersson, throw Riley Smith up there? And I
Yeah.
tell you what, you can take the first unit off the ice because they fucking suck.
But Steve, are you really going to tell Chris Letang that he can't play power play minutes?
Yes, because I'm an NHL coach and you're on my NHL team. Get off the ice if you can't score. It's not
Is Letang been
2016
bad?
anymore. It's not 2017 anymore. I don't know if he's been bad, but I can tell you the whole power play's been bad. It's the reason
13
they're not in a
points.
playoff spot right now.
13 points.
Letang?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Eric Carlson has, I'm just looking it up because I don't know, 19 points.
I'm not talking about scratching the guy. I'm just talking about switching up the power play. You could, fuck it, put Carlson there. Doesn't matter.
Carlson already has 2 power play goals this year, too.
What is that, half of them?
Probably.
Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Yeah.
That's something.
What was the other thing? 0 for 37. Their last 37 attempts. That was the other stat I wanted
Their
to throw
power
out.
play?
Yeah.
0 for 37?
Last 37 times they've hit the ice. 0 goals. Donut. That was as of 2 days ago.
So generally, Dubas has had good power plays in the NHL.
There have been some stinkers at the Leafs, though.
There have been some stinkers. And remember the year where they couldn't keep the puck in play. They couldn't keep it on the playing surface.
That's right.
They weren't able to fix it. So if all that needs to be fixed is the power play, there is some evidence that that's just simply not going to happen.
There was a year, because I remember talking about it and being like, if this team with these stars is not in the top 5 in power play in the league, it's not good enough.
No, I know.
And there was, I think it was 1920 or 2021, one of the, with the pandemic.
They've had the same
fuck knows.
preposterous top power play unit forever.
And it's been working for the Leafs.
Yes.
But there was a point where they couldn't figure it out, and I think they made a coaching change, like an assistant coaching change.
It was Manny Malhotra was the power play guy, and everyone was like, okay, we like him, we want to keep him, get him off the power play, and they replaced him with Spencer Carberry, who was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. And is now coaching the Caps.
Yes.
The all-time record for longest streak without a power play goal is 51 consecutive power plays.
So they're a few games away. You probably get 4 a game.
That they get
Right, Chris?
2.9 a game. I got these stats ready for. They get around 2.9 a game on average this season so far. The last time they scored a power play goal was November 11th, so it'll be a full month.
Oh, man.
By the time the next they play.
That's today, Jesse.
That's
Oh,
today.
December 11th today.
Today's December 11th.
They
Okay,
scored
perfect.
a power play goal in
They-
a month, and you got Crosby.
Erik Karlsson scored a month ago on the power play, and they haven't scored since. So
How
they're
many total power play goals do they have? Can we look that up?
the total actual number.
Actual goals.
Yeah,
Things that have gone in the net. Tickle the twine.
I can't do it all.
Also, Penguins fans,
What a story.
I think.
Wow.
I don't think
Yeah.
we as Leaf fans properly warned you about the sheer amount of unexplainable bullshit that seems to just seems to follow Dubas around.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's unexplainable.
Get used to it. There's some
What
stuff
the
you're like,
fuck
this
is
doesn't
that?
make any sense. Yeah.
What is that?
We'll melt your brain.
Oh my God! Has everyone that you've put on waivers got claimed, or did that stop?
I think that stopped. They did put someone on waivers today to make room for Puyarvi, I think.
Here he comes.
Yeah.
I hope you don't have their jersey. Whoever it is, they're gone.
Anyways, that's the situation with the Penguins power play.
Wow.
It's gonna be fun to see if they break the record. if they go, I don't know, what do they need? About a half a month to hit 51-ish, depending on at around 2.9 a game.
They play the Leafs on Saturday. Don't worry.
Oh.
This Saturday?
Pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, that's a
And
power
I'm
play
streaming
watch.
it. And I'm streaming it.
Power play watch.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
So they need to go power play goal list for this week.
We're following this all week.
Oh, yeah.
That's all. The only reason I'll watch SportsCenter in the morning is to find
Arizona
out if they did it.
Arizona tomorrow, I want to say.
Well, the Leafs are playing the Islanders tonight.
Islanders, Rangers, someone on Thursday, Penguins on Saturday.
Yeah.
Wow, a
so
4-game week.
I
When
think
did
it's
you ever
Blue
get that?
Jackets on Thursday.
Penguins are hosting Arizona, tomorrow. So that'll be an interesting one. And then in between the Leafs, they also got the Canadians on Wednesday and then the Leafs Saturday.
Ooh.
So there's going to be 2 games in between. We'll see if they score a power play goal. Maybe they'll get the bump that.
Let's see if Crosby
record
scores against his future team. The
Who,
Montreal
the
Canadiens.
Arizona Coyotes?
Oh, I thought you meant the Coyotes.
Oh, the Montreal Canadiens.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. The Coyotes have been pretty good.
Just mad Penguins fans. Angry. Super mad.
Listen, be mad at us for the right reason.
Did I mention that the Leafs hold the record?
No, you did.
The 51?
Do they really?
consecutive- Yeah,
What year?
I didn't have the article I was reading didn't have the year that the Leafs set the record, but the Leafs
I'd be
are
surprised if they didn't.
the Leafs are the owner.
I mean, it's the free space. Like every negative record there is, it's the free space.
Yeah, they are. It's an abomination. By the way, just a quick hilarious thing. Can you name the Los Angeles Chargers quarterback?
I can.
Is it Jared Goff?
Jesse.
Easton Stick.
Stop.
Justin Herbert went out, and their backup quarterback is named Easton Stick.
And he plays football.
Yeah. Now I feel like he's got to be an honorary Canadian.
This is Gary Bettman's legacy. There's a human being.
Named Easton.
There's a professional athlete named Easton Stick, and he doesn't play hockey.
Okay.
That is Gary Bettman's legacy. There is an actual human being whose name on their birth certificate is Easton Stick, and they're a professional football player.
That's right.
Fire Bettman. Unbelievable.
Hilarious.
That ruined my day.
Hilarious.
You told me that.
Do we want to?
That's like a Louisville slugger stepping up to the 8th hole in the PGA Tour. What the?
Yes. Now, I gotta ask you guys about this because we do have to talk about it. Friday after we recorded the show, there was a report from John Paul Morosi, who it appears was misled by some bad information, saying that Shohei Ohtani was on a private jet to Toronto. Turns out it was somebody at Shohei Ohtani's agency, CAA, which is a massive agency, by the way, like enormous, one of the biggest in the world. And they represent everybody. Robert Hershkovitz, who you'd know from Dragon's Den. It was not Shohei Ohtani. It was later reported that he's at home in SoCal, probably just chilling.
That report was out there for at least an hour before we found out. No, he's just at his house.
Now, we found out the contract terms. Shohei Ohtani inevitably going to the Dodgers for 10 years, $700 million. Apparently, the Jays were in that wheelhouse. But that report was what pushed the Dodgers to step up and offer what they did. Allegedly. That's apparently how the events went.
The Dodgers blog, too.
There was like a Dodgers blog that was like, Ohtani's going to Toronto.
And then they doubled down the next day after the Morosi thing was refuted. They're like, no, he's signing in Toronto. And like an hour later, he posted on Instagram.
So I think there's been a wide breadth of reactions to this. Jesse, you did a show on it.
Yeah, on Saturday.
What was your feeling? What'd you come away with this?
There's a number of different feelings. Like there's a whole bunch of complex emotions because you're disappointed that the Blue Jays didn't do it. This is one of the greatest baseball players of all time if he keeps this up and based on what he's done so far. And we thought the Jays were close to getting him and it wasn't the case. And because the media led Jays fans to believe that they were so close to getting him, you feel kind of used. You feel kind of used like JP Morosi used Jays fans for clicks and all these blogs, your job is to report on info. We trust you and you have this role because you're a good reporter, and the fact that you're putting out blatant lies, you feel used as a Jays fan. So
in his defense, he does work for a tabloid. Oh, sorry, he works for the MLB Network.
Yeah, and having his report reposted on the MLB Network's Instagram and those things like that.
It was on the MLB's official Twitter.
Yeah, and adding credibility to the report, you feel just disappointed and betrayed by media types like that. And then you come to grips with like, hey, the team isn't being folded. If you're like myself, who's I think a pretty hardcore Jays fan, it's like there's still pieces out there, and they're going to be a really good team this year, and they're going to contend for a playoff spot, and they have a World Series window here with all the good talent they have, and there's still a lot of free agents that they can get.
And Cody Bellinger's girlfriend posting a picture of the Toronto skyline, even though that picture was not. People were smart enough to say that's not from today.
No,
because it was a cloudy day. And they're like, that is not.
It's just
pulled that off Google Images.
It's the GTA meme. It's here we go again.
Yeah. Isn't that hilarious?
But like that is. Did we not learn from this weekend? Like just chill.
But what if I don't want to chill?
I enjoy it. Then you don't have to.
Fuck all that. All that.
You don't have to chill. But if you're ready to be like wildly disappointed and get upset at the internet and do all that stuff, then you're doing it to yourself. But I'm going to sit back and just wait till they actually sign somebody.
John Morosi works for the MLB Network.
That's not what I'm referring to in this specific instance. I'm talking about going to a girlfriend's Instagram account, taking the screenshot of the story, and then freaking out if he doesn't sign in Toronto. Like those sorts of things.
Yeah,
like,
you
did that. If you're upset, then that's not the John Morosi thing is complete betrayal by a source that is the MLB.
He got burned. Yes. He got burned by a source.
Like he'll never recover from this, from a reputation.
That's how I'm gonna remember John Morosi for the rest of his career.
See, I feel like we've had other insiders who have gotten burned and recently and bad.
Oh yeah,
not just missing a thing, like completely missing the boat. And I'm not going to reference it because all that does is create a pile-on situation. But I can remember one recently, and people have moved on. And, I think it's funny that people are like, oh, Morosi's dead to me. He might be, but Morosi's going to be fine. He's also a genuinely good person who has nothing but positive things to say about this country.
So what?
And he got fucking burned.
Yeah.
And here's the part.
league got burned.
Yeah.
Yes, because he represents them, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? What chafes me is the John Heyman article saying that frankly, outside of hockey, Toronto's a small market.
And who does he work for?
The New York Post.
MLB Network.
Well,
No.
It's in his
but
bio.
that article is in the New York Post.
Yeah. He was writing for the New York Post.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a New York Post article.
He works for the league's broadcaster.
I can't
and
even
he's saying that shit.
I can't even blame an American for saying that.
I can. Fuck
Because
you.
America, to Americans, is the big country, and it's hard to argue with. But I feel like what bothers me about it is it ignores the fact that I think the Blue Jays television ratings are like enormous compared to other teams. Like it's not even close.
Yeah.
How well, and I understand that doesn't count in the States, but the Jays are hugely followed up here, perhaps almost as much as some of the big franchises in the MLB. It's almost inarguable.
Let me read what he wrote because it's as egregious as Adam is describing.
Yeah, sorry, I haven't done a great job here. Go
He
ahead.
says, no offense to the Toronto Blue Jays.
There's always something good that comes after that sentence.
No offense to the Toronto Blue Jays, rumored in the final days to be making progress.
By your coworker.
But this is much better for Major League Baseball.
Fuck you.
I know I will be accused of being an American, but the Dodgers are a storied franchise, and the franchise of Jackie Robinson, Sandy Koufax, and Vin Scully. Baseball will be better for it. And he continues, sorry, but reality is reality. The Jays are a fine team and organization. They've made the playoffs 3 of the last 5 years. Toronto is a beautiful city too, but for non-hockey sports, there's a small-time feel to the place.
So I want to ask you this.
Oh, good.
This is a team that is putting like $300 million into their renovations. They have the highest television ratings in the league. When the team is good, they're a sellout every night. Mm-hmm. And that's not like a Leaf sellout, which is 18,000. We're talking 50,000 people. Okay. What I find particularly interesting about this, and again, I guess it comes back to location, is that if we're talking about what's great for the game of baseball, the division that the Jays are in is the most competitive every year and has been for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yankees and Red Sox fans seeing Shohei Ohtani 1 billion times a year is bad for the sport. No, you're right, John.
And here's the thing, LA, sorry, but you play the late game. Most people that are watching baseball on the East Coast are not staying up for that. And there's more people on the East Coast. And the ratings are higher on the East Coast. That's every league. That's not just the MLB. So to make the claim, I understand that the Dodgers are a storied franchise. Brooklyn, LA, totally understand that. Totally get it. But I don't understand how Shohei Ohtani coming up to Toronto would be bad for baseball if an entire country is going to embrace it.
There's a bigger concentration of bigger TV markets in the East Coast than there is on the West.
Yes.
It is spread out there. It is easier to become a star on the East Coast than it is the West.
And by the way, the Dodgers are LA's team. The Angels are Anaheim's team. They were always called the Anaheim Angels until recently, where they changed it to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim because they were trying to dip into the LA TV market.
And now they're
It's
just
bullshit.
the LA Angels.
Yeah, they're an Anaheim team.
Yes, but the saying, oh, Jackie Robinson and Sandy Koufax and Vin Scully, that's like, oh yeah, this person should sign in Montreal because of Maurice Richard and Jean Beliveau and Georges Vezina. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? That's ancient history.
But you got to remember, for his audience, they don't care. It's so easy. You remember?
It's just
Hey, listen,
masturbatory, waxing poetically about the past.
Somebody that I find extremely entertaining, whether I agree with him or not, Stephen A. Smith. You remember what happened when the things he would say about the Raptors when they went to the finals, the things they would say about Canada, the fact that when the Jays made the playoffs in 2015, one of the announcers from the MLB Network said that we had an ocean next to our city.
That was the most,
and he was in the city.
That's one of the most insulting things ever. That broadcast crew that they put on the 2015
as a former
ALDS.
It was a former baseball player.
Oh my God, it was awful.
So
awful.
All that is to say, Toronto fans can forgive and forget. If you look at what happened with Vince Carter, we've been spurned before. That guy was a total asshole on the way out. But he had a great legacy while he was here.
He left a legacy.
Put a mark on the franchise. Doug Gilmour. No one really talks about this, and I love Doug Gilmour. He's my favorite player of all time. Soon as the Leafs got a sniff of we're not that good anymore, he was like, fucking trade me. And they did. And there's some other stars that have
and
left.
He has a banner.
100%, and deservedly so. Yeah. I love Doug, but that's what happened.
Yeah.
I think
for 5 minutes.
I think the Jays fans can get over the Ohtani thing. I think what is annoying is when everybody comes out and goes, good, because fuck you guys. That's the part that I don't mind an insider getting burned and me getting jacked up. For the hour that I thought Ohtani was coming here, I was bouncing off the walls in my apartment. You can never take that away from me. It was a great hour. It was fantastic. But what I cannot stand is to support a decision that Ohtani made himself. We have to demean an entire country and a city. I don't understand that. Like, just say, hey, you know what? The MLB probably likes this because the ratings and blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. You don't have to say, Canada's kind of small market. Toronto's kind of small market.
As long as
it's just like, it just sucks. Like, why you don't have to do that.
As long as we're ripping on John Heyman for being shitty at his job. He said, I know I'm going to get accused of being an American.
Mm-hmm. Well, you are an American.
Correct. Mm-hmm. I accuse you of being...
The one sentence in there that I'll never forgive Heyman for is the small time thing. It's just so blatantly untrue.
I question whether or not he's ever been here.
No, yeah, like
he
has no idea.
He's been here, guys.
Well, then he's a fucking idiot.
And saying we're small time for everything that's non-hockey. Like, the Raptors are the 10th most valuable franchise in the NBA.
You missed that parade there, John?
2 million people at the Raptors
cable out that day there, John. They didn't cover it, did they, John?
In terms of simply the numbers and the television media market, Toronto is the 4th largest in North America.
That includes Mexico City, by the way.
Yeah, it is New York, LA, Chicago, and then Toronto. Like, there's nothing small town about our city.
The Tampa Bay Rays have a team. Like, I don't know.
Toronto is, by the way, slightly bigger than Chicago. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's recent. It's arrogant. It's ignorant.
I got 2023 numbers.
It's
every the media market, the metro population.
Fair enough.
It's 9.2.
It's every arrogant and ignorant stereotype that Americans hate about themselves. Honestly, I feel like every time I go to the States, Americans don't speak to you as much as they just apologize for other Americans, and I'm like, guys, we can have a conversation here. You don't need to do that. And this just it sets relations back with. This guy doesn't have any knowledge of the world.
Well, and I don't think he cares because I don't think he has to.
Yeah.
And that's it is what it is. I just think for me, I can get over. I can watch a guy that I trust get burned by a source. I can even watch the sports network, shame me for it. I'm fine with that because I felt a little shamed by some of the stuff.
That was bullshit.
But yeah. I'll tell you this. I will be. I just don't understand why you need to demean Canada, which is perfectly fine and minding its own business, to support a guy who just signed the biggest contract in MLB history. I don't care that the agency played off the teams off on one another. I don't care that they played with the fans' hearts. That's kind of being a sports fan. That's the way it goes. Don't care. I just feel like it's just a cheap shot and it's bullshit. And I do hope this. I hope the Jays use this as a really great pitch for anybody else that comes here. Not just this season, but going forward. You know, this is a great place. They got that great facility in Dunedin. They're actually creating a baseball stadium. They got an owner that is a committed fan. Ed Rogers is a committed baseball fan, wants them to win. So when players come here, they're going to be beloved. Like there are guys still signing autographs every year from the 92 and 93 teams. Still.
92, 93?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
From the 2011 shit teams that no one allegedly cared about.
We worship these teams and they didn't even do anything.
Yeah. 100%.
You know how much I love Lyle Overbay?
Oh my God. That's still one of my favorite things.
Intros?
There was some dude who was just blackout drunk at a game, and every time he came up to bat, he would get up out of his seat and go, Lyle Overbay. The big O, in case you didn't know who he was talking
I still have a Travis Snyder jersey that I love looking at.
I also
Snyder,
I love
man.
looking at it.
He was
never
unreal.
wear. Is that right?
What?
Wear it?
My Travis Snyder. Well, I have like a New Jersey, blue jersey. So I wear that one.
Is that the Black Jay one?
Yeah, it's the Jays across the front.
How many black, white, and blue Brett Laurie jerseys are still walking around the city frayed? Like they've been in the laundry machine God knows how many hundreds of times, and people are still wearing them.
People love the Blue Jays.
John McDonald! You still see John McDonald. Munenori Kawasaki.
Well,
you cannot go to a section at a Jays game without seeing a 66.
Who was a bench player at best.
Who hit a walk-off once.
Yeah.
This summer, one of the best moments for the Jays this entire summer, because they had a disaster of a season, even though they made the playoffs. It was the team that everybody hated. The best part was when they brought out Joey Bats and they put his name in the Ring of Excellence or whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They put his name up there and they brought out most of the 2015 team and some of the 2016 team, and they were all out there on the field, and that was so friggin' cool. It brought a tear to my eye to see all of those guys out there, and that dude didn't win shit. They won a couple of rounds of the playoffs, but they held this city in the palm of their hand, and it was magical. The city is obsessed with these sports teams, and calling it small town is just disgraceful.
So here's what I hope. I hope the Jays go out because they do have a good roster. They can augment this roster. There are players on the market that they can do. They've got a great pitching staff. If they could learn to hit the ball again, they'll be laughing. And I don't know if you've been watching Alejandro Kirk's Instagram. That guy is in the gym every day. Jacked.
Oh, he's working?
Oh, yeah?
Jacked.
Nice.
Dude. Jacked.
Love it.
I would love to see, wouldn't it be great?
Careful, Stephen A. might call you fat.
I would love a Blue Jays Dodgers World Series because it would be fun to see Ohtani versus the team that he kind of that was the runner-up for him.
Well,
I think that would be an amazing story. And I think, and this is the other part I want to add, and this is my whole point in starting this out, specifically the Leafs, for one reason, and the Raptors and Jays for another, need to do a better job in their respective leagues with players, with agents, with media, of showing people how great it is to live here. And
every NBA podcast just talks about how fun Toronto is.
Right.
That's all I ever see.
And all from guys who have been here.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you haven't been here, you get this American attitude.
You do. And I think that the Jays, and I think that the Raptors specifically for that reason, because they're the only teams in Canada, need to go above and beyond with the PR campaign in order to get these guys, in order to bring these guys north of the border, because if you win, you're going to get statues.
I'd love to see a Dodgers Blue Jays World Series too, but Adam, I think the biggest question is, would they even air it?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It would be bad for the ratings, right?
It'd be a disaster.
They cancel.
And the Leafs need to do it because, listen, there are guys who are like, it's just too much media. Can't handle it. The Leafs, by the way, it's so funny when people say that about the Leafs because that seems to be the thing. Nobody knows this, but the Leafs PR people are among the strictest in the league. You can't get an interview. You cannot get one. And there's
they made a
for
team that was almost entirely rookies and said you can't speak to the rookies.
Yeah, here's Matt Hunway.
And everyone just dealt with it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. So anyway.
The Leafs need to do like a D-media campaign where it's like, no, it's okay. You can play here.
We do protect you, man.
Gary's on it.
Yeah. Anyway, let's
hit the button.
Let's hit the button. That's it.
Why did that get me so hot? All weekend I was pissed about that shit.
About the Heyman stuff?
Yeah.
I think if somebody insulted your country and you love living here.
Goddamn right.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing makes Canadians more patriotic than Americans.
Yeah, fair enough.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.